Merry Christmas. Happy Crimbo. And a good Krambus to everybody. Or I guess anybody that is actually here. I don't know. Most people are probably doing Christmas things, but not me. I'm doing Christmas things tomorrow. So my Christmas today was I woke up and played Stardew Valley for like 5 hours, and now I want to beat the Hayseed night. I've been itching to get back at this, but I didn't want to play more because I've been playing it on stream, so I wanted to wait. And here we are. I went back and read a bunch of stuff to refresh in the encyclopedia, and so much more makes sense now than... I think I wasn't paying attention during the first chapter because I was just so excited. So now we're in a flashback, I believe. Oh no, I started over by accident. Whoops. Good job, Kemi. Hang on, wait. Load. Yes. Yeah, okay. We're about to get we're about to be sentenced to death. And we're in the middle of a flashback. Adder began making gestures that would have looked far more ridiculous than obscene with normal hands. Never mind his.
You're asking if I would be mad if you were to see someone else.
You're trying your darnest to avoid the question.
Excuse me. I didn't realize this was an interrogation. No, Adder. I don't care what you do with your free time, as long as you come over when I want you to. Will that be all?
Damn. We're starting off spicy. Oh, hi, Jelly Boy. Merry Christmas. Are we going to play some Flash games before they're gone forever? Possibly. Yes, I would like to. Especially, there was that Strong Bad game. They, released a new part of it for a limited time, until Flash is gone forever, which is the end of the month, right? Am I crazy? It's the end of the month, right? The answer is yes, I intend to. Hey, nerd. Happy Crambo. Merry Shit Scram 2020. That's a new one. I hope you are doing well. We're in a flashback.
Nah, I ain't buying that. Come on. You're really trying to tell me that you wouldn't get jealous if I walked up to a doe and hugged her and kissed her and asked her to marry me? Not even a little bit?
No, and to be honest, the possibility hadn't even crossed my mind.
She was the one that called us handsome.
Right. Of course. I get it. Yeah. You ain't gotta worry, because I'm the toothpick to your 7-course meal.
Is that some sort of attempt at an analogy?
Oh, no, ma'am! I'd never try that again without your permission!
Adder, I don't...
I'm just saying.
I don't think...
I'm like a used toothpick. Here for you and no one else. Because I'll gross everyone else out.
Adder, and now... Oh, never mind.
Oh, I see. Emotional chantage. Is that what this is about? What an unbecoming habit for a stag as handsome as yourself. The nerve you have, trying to hear me say how amusing and kind you are, not to mention brave and resilient. That's certainly not how I'd expect my favorite to behave.
So, I'm your favorite, huh?
So...
Hold up. You mean there are others?
Oh, don't be silly. There can only be one favorite.
I got a cocktail mixer. Oh, that's what I should have done. It's so early, it didn't occur to me. But, we have so much, Christmas-related beverages downstairs, and I should have made one for myself. It's not like I'm going anywhere. Maybe later. They fucking... By the way.
No, I refuse.
Whoa.
No matter how you insist, I can't just choose one. You are all my favorites.
Oh, we're doing that thing again where we're reading her memories by accident, probably.
It doesn't work like that, Mom. You have to pick one.
Oh, she's so cute. Look at how cute she is.
Why? Can't I love all my children equally?
It's not love, it's law. Illigrip says that it's the parents' duty to choose one child to favor as the heir of their estates to prevent a division of power and infighting among their descendants.
This is so cute. She's so babby.
I need to have a word with Mr. Buntalos about his idea of age-appropriate lessons.
The doe's coattails meandered behind her as she made her way through the pergola. Sepp followed them closely.
He also said that I don't need to worry about any of that because I'm not a doe like you. Is that true, Mom?
Oh. The trail of ghostly silk came to a sudden halt. The doe turned around to lift the tiny gazelle between her arms.
You know what, Sepp? You are my only daughter. So that technically makes you my favorite daughter, doesn't it?
Doesn't work that way, Mom. Oh, this is the character that I believe is voiced by Elsie Lovelock, the voice of Charlie in Has Been Hotel. She's such a sweetheart. Tremor, Merry Krampus! I hope that you are doing well.
What does technically mean?
Kind of.
That means I can technically keep my room?
No, dear. You are destined for far greater things. You will have your very own palace when you're older. Much, much bigger than this one.
But I don't want to go. I want to stay here with you. I don't need a big room. It can be small. The smallest one.
Who is Tiny Sepp? I want to know. Oh, I can't remember what the button is.
No, dear.
But I don't want to go. I want to stay here with you. I don't need...
Holy horns!
Whoops.
This is your room? For real? I didn't know Barhan fortune tellers lived in places this fancy. I mean, look at that! This place is bigger than my whole house! I gotta share it, too.
Oh, at her. There's a button that I can pull up the... Oh, menu down here. I have to know. She's so cute. Yeah, for some reason... Czar, that was her name. For some reason, she's not in the credits. But it's on IMDb as Elsie. Who I believe is just I don't know if she is both singing and speaking for Charlie, but yeah. She's known for Has Been. I don't see young Sepp either. Aw. I want to know who you are. I'm sure that's on IMDb as well.
A mere fortune teller could never afford it, of course. If gaze reading was the extent of my skills, I wouldn't be able to afford wasting time with indecisive paupers like you.
By the way, Tremor, I think you would love this game. I was toying with the idea of giving away a copy when I'm done with it. Probably on Twitter, we'll see. But yeah, I love this, and I think you'll love it too.
I ain't got a clue what you called me just now, but that's all right, because here, I'll let you in on a little secret, ma'am. You've been fooled through and through. This was all a test.
A test, So you mean to tell me all that sobbing about stealing your first kiss was just a lie?
Oh, that was his first kiss?
No friggin' chance, ma'am. I ain't letting a creep like you off the hook so easy now. But since you got far bigger creeps than yourself hollering down your window, I decided to heroically risk my own body to make you company, till I'm sure you're safe and sound.
And of course, my little bribe had nothing to do with this decision.
Yep. I mean, no, not at all. I was just trying to, see if you could really read minds. Figure out my true intentions while I tried to resist your delicious pastries.
Pastries?
My bad.
She got the whole
How
bakery.
could I forget the legendary cunning of the roe deer?
Hey now! Don't think you could get cute with me just because you got me to come here after all. I'm still mad at you. real mad.
Oh, honey, come on. You can't stay mad at your poor brother forever.
He is no brother of mine.
Aw.
What would Thar say if she saw you two fighting like that?
Oh, this is Miss Rochelle. They've been talking about her a lot, but I think this is the first time we've seen her.
She can't say anything anymore, can she? Mom? Mom? Ah! Mom!
You didn't think I would let you catch me with my guard down twice, did you?
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Whoa, that was freaky. Adder bolted up, his mind in a daze, and his face covered in sweat. He felt like a volcano had erupted from his heart, setting his whole skin ablaze from antlers to hooves. But that wasn't the most distressing part. Something was grabbing his shoulders, something far more powerful than himself, something bright enough to show through his shut eyelid. He had lived through this once before and come out scarred, but his body refused to learn. Once more, the temptation to look at something his mind wouldn't understand overwhelmed him. He didn't find an angry fireball watching over his limp body this time, however, but a familiar pair of cold blue eyes looking down on him. Yeah, the amazing illustrations. Yeah, the art is incredible. I love everything about all the character designs. The dev is he's from Spain. So there's a lot of inspiration from like Spanish and Middle Eastern culture. It's really fascinating. It's really pretty.
Sep, you were fine just now, but also I was there for a while too. But then there was this dough and a door, and then it got real scary and...
You need to find a healthier outlet for those voyeuristic tendencies of yours, Adder.
I didn't catch a word of that.
Sep shoved her face so close that her horns touched Adder's.
If you keep peeping through every crack you find, someone's going to end up poking your eye out, you creep.
The strength of her grip intensified for a moment before finally letting go, putting an end to the unnatural flush Adder felt all over his body. Both his skin and his thoughts began cooling down little by little as she walked away.
You calling me a creep? You? I hate to break it to you like this, ma'am, but I'm precisely the one that needs a lesson on keeping his hands to himself the most in this.
Adder finally took notice of the world around him. An endless mass of fine sand extending in all directions, shining bright against the blue sky above. I was gonna say, looks totally different right now, so something is off. Hate to see her go, but love to watch her walk away. Adder, probably. I love this himbo deer, man. Oh, I've read about this. The dunes of, is it Bazaksarat? Had been a nameless antagonist in the tales that grandiloquent traveling merchants would share as they stopped by Adder's village. But he had never thought that he'd see the desert in person. This is the place that her people are from. It doesn't exist anymore. It's all ruins now, but it's where they originally hailed from. This land wasn't completely barren, though. Columns of alabaster rose from the ground, forming magnificent colonnades just like those that decorated the Temple of Hera back in Erlum. And in the center of it all stood Sep, watching from a throne that sat in the nearest point between derision and amusement.
Where are we? No. When are we?
You are right here and right now. Don't change the topic.
Whoa, hold up! This ain't no memory, is it? I'm thinking. I can hear my thoughts.
Congratulations on your newfound powers of introspection.
Powers of what?
No, Adder, this isn't a memory. This is something far, far more personal than that. I guess you could say that you are standing inside my mind right now. Though, a more correct way to put it would be saying that you are trapped.
I love his mlem.
Say what? No way you could do that.
Can I do that too?
Of course I can. I I can do whatever I want inside my own mind. And as the ancient Bazakted adage prays, an open door is not an invitation. You showed up uninvited, and so I have decided to lock you up like the burglar of secrets you are.
Yeah, so she has the power to, like, gaze into your memories, and we have the same power, and we keep doing it by accident because we don't really know how to control it or what it is. So I'm wondering if we can trap her in our mind, too, if we knew how.
Nice try, but I got enough of these inspection powers to tell you're trying to use my tricks on me. I ain't so scared of you. I'm just gonna eat any half-baked magic-y radish stew you cook up, ma'am.
See, your advice is useless if I don't know the whole truth first.
You don't know what happened either?
I can only speculate as I try to piece together an explanation. My best guess so far is that our little bonding experiment worked much, much better than I anticipated it would.
Adder clutched his burns.
Bonding sure is a fancy way to call what you did to me.
The fact that you remember enough to be bitter proves that I did indeed manage to find a relatively harmless way to circumvent the curse. I've made a historical breakthrough, and you should be thanking me for my efforts.
Oh yeah, thanks for the tattoos and all the nights I spent hollering down your window without an answer. What did you fix my mind for if you were just planning to act like you didn't know me? You like seeing me hurt like that?
Wait. Tattoos? I wonder, was Sean's random guess correct? Are we a golem and don't know it? Lifelike puppets created by Cephis during the Barn Rebellion. They were built to carry specific tasks from serving tea to wreaking havoc, and resemble a cane, which are the deer, with the sole intention to mock the deer. Tradition dictates that their frames are made of brass, porcelain, or marble, making the bulk of their body. An inner core made of rock crystal and silk, fur grass, or real hair decorating their heads and tails. Upon purchase, they would bear the mark of the gazelle that had bought them, forsaking all connection to their creator. Most were destroyed during and after the Barn Rebellion, so the ones that remain reach quite a high price among collectors. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting a little, because I finally read all this lore ahead of myself, but they keep saying that Aina's a golem, but I don't think that is the case. I think maybe Adder actually is. Maybe?
Yes, making you grovel is definitely always a plus. But I'm not so cruel as to plan something like that in advance. It was more of a spontaneous decision, a change of heart, if you will. I realized that I quite enjoy tormenting cowards.
I ain't no coward, I was just scared. You can't blame me for running away. You set me on fire!
Yeah, that's very fair.
Did you spend a whole moon ablaze?
Adder looked up at the gazelle looming over him. He realized that he was trying to win a conversation on a topic he didn't even want to recall. The weight of his anger turned to hurt under the pressure of her stare.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go find the exit and get so you don't gotta see my ugly mug ever again.
You do realize that the part about being locked up wasn't a lie, correct? This is my core, my retreat, the place where I go when it looks like the sky is about to fall on me. No one should be able to reach this deep within someone else's mind, and especially not you.
I found my way out of deeper pits, no worries. Only thing I care about is getting out of here before it's too late.
Late? Really? You think you're going to be late inside a thought? Oh, that's precious. Please explain to me how someone as clumsy as you managed to slip past my defenses, because I seriously can't understand it.
All I'm hearing is blah, blah, blah. Adder's dumb, and I already knew that.
Oh, Adder.
Time is not an objective reality in the same way a rock or your ignorance would be. An hour can go by in a moment when you're having fun, but that same hour can be a torturous eternity for someone in pain. Time lives inside your mind.
Truth.
A good gaze reader knows how to look inwards as much as outwards and use time in their favor. As long as I can keep my thoughts focused enough, time will remain effectively stopped for me. And for you, little stowaway.
Damn, how do I get those powers?
We could potentially have a whole eternity to spend together, provided I don't die of ennui first. Then again, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to keep me entertained. We have a lot to catch up on.
A cup of wine manifested into Sep's hand. She took a sip, grimaced, then poured the rest on the ground, where it vanished immediately. Then she tried to conjure another.
So, what'll happen to us outside? You know, in the real world?
Yo, Maxie! Yeah, I really dig this whole outfit. Wait, can you get rid of the text window? Nope. There usually is a way to do that in some visual novels, and I was like, I want to see the rest of it. I mean, I can kind of see it. Middle button click. Yes. Oh yeah, especially like the little hip windows, whatever you want to call them. I'm about it.
We'll die one way or another, and no one will shut up about it. A Barhan witch and a one-eyed horn-eater. No, forbidden lovers die in each other's arms as their plot is revealed. Yes, that sounds great. It's very romantic. They'll write songs about us.
Sep looked up from her fourth attempt at remembering the taste of a cup of wine.
You look awfully somber for someone who is about to spend an eternity with the most beautiful girl on Dakna and have fame to outlive him for years to come. Isn't this like a dream come true for you, Sir Adderson?
I call them aerodynamic design. Hell yeah.
No! And even if it was, it wouldn't be right like this. You're about to die for something you ain't done, and my first reaction was whining because you don't like me instead of trying to do something about it. You sure you want to spend an eternity with a buck like me?
Of course not. All I wanted was to keep you out of my thoughts for the rest of my life. But seeing as how you have made your way into my mind quite literally, I'm afraid I don't have much of a choice. Willful resignation is a skill of its own.
No, ma'am! No one's settling down for Adderson just because they don't think they deserve bitter.
Aw, Adder.
There's got to be a way to get out of here and make it out alive. I'll get back to the trial and show them I did what I did because I'm dumb as a bag of rocks and you ain't got nothing to do with it. And
How stubborn can you get, Adder? Am I not explaining myself properly, or is it that you don't want to understand? I always knew you were a simpleton, but I refuse to believe you're this naive.
you got a point there, or are you just itching to insult me?
Elbar wouldn't listen to a nobody like you if it cost him his life. The trial was a farce.
A what?
Seb tilted her head away from Adder, fixing her gaze instead on the empty vastness ahead of them. The sand trembled and bubbled up as it began rising and taking the form of a deer and a gazelle. Ooh.
A trial? What do you mean, a trial?
You said it yourself. Peasants are a brainless lot. We both know that you have more than enough reasons to want that deer dead, but the mob... I'm afraid they will need a little convincing on who to root for when his head rolls.
And why should I care about the townsfolk's opinion? My guards have more spears than they have pitchforks.
Do you really want to give them reasons to make a martyr out of a street shrub? You should be basking in the glory of avenging your brother, but instead they're cheering for him. I get the impression no one seems to appreciate your efforts, Sir Askadath.
They really don't, do they? After all I do for them, all the times I've tried to make it up to Burbeth for my mistakes.
Precisely. You need to show them your better side, so that Burbeth may wake up and finally realize what kind of man his brother truly is.
Your genius never ceases to amaze me, Jasif. I was too blinded by honor to realize that Burbeth's sympathy for the commoners lights my path to redemption. Yes, we shall hold a trial to show my liege how fair and compassionate I am.
I love his voice.
Munificent, too! I shall dispense a few coins among the crowd before the trial to remind the citizens of my, Askadath's generosity. Their loyalty shall not waver when it's time to cast the verdict, and then I'll present the body to my brother as a gift. Mwah! Perfect! Just perfect!
Grim didn't even begin to describe Adder's expression as the memory dissipated into dust. Cameron's performance just made the character completely... yeah, exactly. He's perfect.
I only encouraged your optimism because I found it amusing, Adder. But I'm telling you now, it's hopeless. The balance was tipped from the start.
Also, we're kind of guilty.
So what do you want me to do then? Sit on my hands while he sharpens his sword? I won't be happy spending an eternity knowing you're about to get burnt to a crisp for trying to help me.
I wasn't trying to help you, damn it! I knew there was no way you could win. I didn't do this to be charitable. I just wanted to make sure that I could see you face to face one last time and know you mean nothing to me. You don't owe me anything, Adder. I brought this upon myself.
Sep slumped back into a column that rose to seat her. She looked weary and small, tired from fighting a battle that she would never share aloud.
If you don't want me to stand up for you, then at least I'll stand up for myself just this once.
Yeah.
This could be the last chance I get to prove I got a head over my shoulders, Sep.
Hell yeah.
Do you now?
See, you're fine with this because everyone knows you got your head screwed on right. But if I don't speak now, I'm gonna die being Adder the dumbass. My neighbors will say, "Remember Adder?" And they'll go, "Darn right, ain't never seen a bigger dumbass in my life."
This is such a mood.
And it's my fault, right? Because I let him. I thought if I didn't watch my tongue, I'd end up hanging myself with it. But that didn't make me smarter. That just meant everyone could put words in my mouth and make me dumber than I am. Y'all thought Shovel Hands was a soft-spoken boy, but no more. I'm gonna get loud. I'm gonna get louder than ever, so Lord Snotty Snout's gotta listen. Addison, son of God, father ain't never shutting up again, you hear me?
Yeah, be a loud dumbass, Adder.
You're really setting the bar high, aren't you? I've heard you talk even in dreams. Where else do you plan to... Hold that thought. Could you really be rambling as we speak?
Sep sat back up slowly. Something had changed in her eyes.
I know that face. You got a plan, don't you? That's the Sip I know, smart as a whip and only half as mean. What do you need? Just say the word and I'll get right to it, my queen.
That's a great start. But you are going to need more than mere compliments if you want to convince Elbar that you deserve a second chance.
I'm getting mixed messages here, ma'am. You think I got a chance or not? Didn't you just say he wasn't going to listen to a word I said?
And he won't. You could warn him that his head were on fire, and he would refuse to listen to you on the basis of not liking the way you speak. He's more concerned with the envelope than the letter. If you manage to get past Elbar's brashness and appeal to his sensibilities, you'll find that he's hiding a heart under his delicate ego. The magnitude of his emotions is his biggest weakness, and I, of course, happen to know how to stir them better than anyone else.
Whoa there. Don't go getting ahead of yourself now. I don't want you magicking up nobody else's memory again.
As if I had to. There's nothing Elbar loves more in the world than a good tragedy, and you are nothing short of miserable. I'm sure that if you could stroke his ego a little and spin some sad tale, he would call off the trial and pardon you immediately.
Really?
Sob story's all you need? Call me Weeper Wailer Adder then. I've done far worse than cry a little, save my butt. I ain't even gonna break a sweat.
I cry all the time. I can cry right now.
But that still begs the question, ma'am. Where'd that leave you if it works?
Sep blinked, clearly taken aback by the sincerity of the question. Adder would have sworn that he spied the faintest blush forming over her cheeks if he hadn't known her better.
As I said, you don't need to worry about me. Elbar will call off the trial before he lets anyone soil my name, or his by association.
Is that right? He sure looks the type who don't need help soiling his anything.
Want to see my superpower? Yo, check out how hard I can cry.
Takes one to know one, I suppose.
Both the gazelle and the deer shared a mean, knowing grin.
What do you say we call this even for now? Truce?
Truce. Only until I can get you out of my mind, of course.
Would you kindly show me the way out then?
Could I even? I have an idea of how to get you out of here, but it's kind of a drag, and it's going to take us both quite a lot of mental preparation. I'm getting exhausted just from thinking about it.
I know that feeling too. I actually drew the check out how hard I can cry Adder months ago. Really? Oh my god, I have to see it. It's perfect. Seb crossed her legs in a very calculated fashion. Adder couldn't do maths, however. Maths are hard.
What are you willing to do in exchange for my help?
Oh, darn it. You got me right where you wanna, don't you? I've been playing hard to get, but I'm afraid a buck can only fight back for so long. Oh, what the hey? Come on up, you goof off. I'll carry you there.
That face! Seb headed off in a seemingly random direction, not bothering to look at him twice. It spews out of his eye patch, too, like a fountain.
Hey, Sep, I'm not that dumb. I was just messing with you. We can still... Sep, wait up! Don't give me the cold shoulder now! I've missed you too! Sep!
My plan to get you out of here involves a bit of an abstract petition. I need you to follow the trail left by a particularly disruptive feeling. One that has been keeping me up every night since you ran away.
Adder almost opened his mouth to intervene with his version of the story, but he managed to remind himself that if he wasn't standing on solid enough grounds to argue,
At first, I thought it was fear. I was afraid that you would summon the guards and tell everyone what happened. I was convinced that my time had come, and I prepared myself to embrace death. But days passed, and no one came knocking on my door.
You really thought I was planning to tell on you like that? I am scared as all get out. A prairie buck could deal with this gal being a mind-reading horn hottie, not a gosh darn friggin' fireball. But that don't mean you stop being you. I'll never let nothing happen to you.
So I saw, now and then, and once my fear vanished, I decided to stop worrying about you and return to normality. I managed somehow. Everything was going better than ever for me, and yet the restlessness just kept growing. Ever since that night, I keep recalling parts of my life that I thought long forgotten. I can't take a single step without second-guessing myself. I fear I'm turning soft, weak. I don't know.
I know this feeling too. After what felt like hours of walking, their journey came to an apparent end. A pristine marble wall blocked any further advance. It stood tall and proud, looking far more impregnable and solid from afar than any wall Adder had ever seen in the real world. It seemed endless and eternal. Upon closer examination, however, the glamour built from lies and self-importance disappeared. This imposing defense was actually full of breaches and crumbling apart.
I lack the words to describe the change you've stirred within me, Adder, but that hardly matters anymore. All I know is that you have managed to slip past my defenses, and that means it's only a matter of time until someone does it on purpose. I need you to take advantage of my vulnerabilities to find the way back out, and then lead me to it, so I can close it. No one shall get so close to my heart again.
Let me get this straight. The only way out of your mind is making you a worse person, somehow?
I suppose that is one way to put it, yes. Good people don't exactly thrive in the upper crust. That's why I'm closer than ever to power. And you, well, the news suits you just fine.
Yeah, that's truth.
I don't know, Your Majesty. I get the feeling you're being just the usual amount of ugly to this buck. You sure anything's changed at all?
Don't mistake cooperation for forgiveness, Adder. You deserve my help, not my kindness. I am still terribly mad at you.
Look, I know I messed up, and I messed up a bunch, but you ain't the only one with reason to be angry. You ain't got a clue what it's like to hide a charred chest and a secret like that from all your friends for a moon. I'm just saying, ma'am, if you think you get to be madder and adder, you're...
Time decelerated to a near halt as the accidental pun left Adder's mind, escaped his mouth, and reached Sep's ears. Her lips began trembling, followed by her cheeks. A flush of red covered her nose, and for a second, it looked like she would lose their impromptu challenge.
As I was saying, your intrusion may yet prove to be a net positive on my life. Show me how to steal my heart, and I will gladly return the favor once we go back to the real world.
But why would you go and leave something so important in these shovel hands? You sure you want me seeing all those memories? I mean, you know yourself really well, right? Can't you just go in there and use them inspection powers to point me to the exit?
Introspection, Adder. And no, self-deception is much stronger than self-help.
Yeah.
I'm self-aware enough to know that any attempt at self-analysis would only leave me crawling back into a cycle of self-loathing and make me lose control of both this place and myself.
You forgot any self in there?
Sep's glare made it quite obvious that this was not the time for quips.
I can surmise where my issues lay and point you in their direction once you know what you're looking for, Adder. That's the extent of what I can do without the guidance of another gaze reader, and you're the closest I've seen to one in a decade. Besides, I firmly believe that in the time we've spent together, you have grown to understand me better than anyone else. Not that there was much in the way of competition to begin with.
Adder was, despite all evidence pointing to the contrary, a rather simple boy with simple tastes and simple goals. Psychological journeys to the center of the mind were not exactly his field of expertise.
So I just gotta take a walk in the slums of your thoughts to find a hole in a wall I can fit through, and then we'll go cry together in front of Elbar so you can get back to your life and I can get back to mine, and we can stay out of each other's hair forever like you wanted.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
That it?
Yes, but it won't be nearly as simple as you're making it sound. Defenses come in layers, each stronger than the last. I don't remember all the feelings I have locked away behind them, but you will. You will walk away carrying my pain with you. You need to start treating your powers with the deference they deserve, Adder. A gaze reader can become an impotent witness to a person's worst nightmare, or worse yet, a participant in their darkest hour.
That's a mighty fine reason to be careful, no doubt. But it don't sound all that convincing when you tried to mess with my head the minute you saw me walking down the street.
This and that are two completely different things. I needed to see if you were the deer who helped me. It was important.
So abusing my power's all fine and good long as I can make up a convincing excuse. Gotcha, Teach.
Oh my god, Adder.
That's not... Ugh! You can't truly be this obtuse.
You're just saying words I can't understand, because you know I'm right.
Stop being a pest and make yourself useful for once, will you? Search around and see what you can find. I have other matters to attend to.
Inside your own head?
No, inside yours, duh. Be gone already.
All right, I'm going. Hold up. Where am I supposed to go exactly? I can't just walk up to a guard and say, "Good evening, sir. Would you kindly point me to the nearest
Oh, a guard manifested out of the sand, fully dressed and looking even meaner than the real ones.
Good evening, sir?"
Adder didn't even get to formulate his question. A low rumble preceded an earthquake, turning the sands below his feet into a bubbling mass. Adder ran and jumped from roof to roof as a whole district began growing under his feet. A familiar one, at that. The dust finally settled, revealing a detailed recreation of the Heartache District. Or at least the part that Adder knew best, which could only mean one thing. Our amateur mind traveler turned around, finding an otherworldly red mansion standing proudly against all the comparatively discreet houses around it. I will say the words. Adder had found his way back to the Desert Rose, as usual. Contrary to what the uninitiated in Heirloom's culture may think, the Desert Rose was, and most certainly, not a house of ill repute. Quite the opposite. It was the jewel of the crown of Heartache District. Maybe the whole city. One would never be ashamed of being caught stepping in, for that would mean they had the kind of resources to behold the multifarious words, dances, magic displays, and general extravagance their usual patrons took part in. Fewer yet would even dream of ever carrying enough coin in their pockets to afford a sojourn in this. Oh no, I skipped. In this multifaceted cultural center. Needless to say, it was not the kind of place someone like Adder would ever be allowed to frequent. And by frequent, I mean look at from any distance shorter than 60 steps. Real talk, I like using big words just to trip streamers up. I'm playing on hard mode because my pop filter obscures the left side of the screen a little bit. I could always just move it. He wasn't even allowed to breathe in its proximities, lest he contaminated its air of nobility. Despite their strict anti-adder policy, however, the guards that usually stood by the main gate didn't seem to mind his presence at all. They looked rather complacent and not at all stabby.
Right. Of course, this is just one of Sep's memories. None of this is real. You ain't here at all. Well, I mean, I guess you're here. You're just not here. So, look, y'all mind if I come in through the front door just this once?
The guards remained impassive. After much deliberation, Adder finally mustered the courage to just walk in. The Desert Rose was a marvel from foundations to ceiling, but its main hall was particularly impressive. Tapestries on every column displayed dance steps, while elaborate mosaics drew the palace's namesake flower over and over in every wall. Men were playing ouds and flutes in the background, making music that didn't make any sound. Fountains of wine, hookah pipes, and beautiful does filled the room. Oh, can I go? Can I visit? I have the coin if you have the wares. Assuaging all the rich deer and heirloom into spending enough money to fund a small nation. And who knows how much money they were making beyond the common room. The Desert Rose should have been a marvel to behold in every sense. And yet, despite all the bustle, the only home Sep had ever known seemed rather dull and lifeless.
You don't care a whole lot for this place, do you?
No answer. The cavernous silence filling the crowded room sent shivers down Adder's spine. He quickly decided to stop loitering around and headed to the first floor instead. I finished watching the Futurama movie. It's more of a mixed bag than I remembered. I think I've only seen the first one. That's the one with the code that Bender has to holds or whatever. That's the first one, right? The familiarity and sobriety of the bedroom area was rather reassuring in comparison. It would have been positively awful to snoop around in such a place, so Adder carefully counted room after room until he was sure he'd found his destination. Bender's Big Score, that movie was the best one. Yeah, that's the only one I've seen. I haven't seen the other ones. The heavy door opened to reveal a chamber far more impressive than any other alcove Adder's imagination could have conjured. A brief glance was enough to show that it was bigger than Gyoff's home, and times infinite more exquisite. It's a nice hookah. Delicate carpets made up of intricate patterns covered the totality of the ground, from the entrance to the luxurious bed in the center of the room, stopping only before the enclosed balcony. Dozens of cushions lay haphazardly against each other, displaying some sort of mating dance. They huddled in the middle of the chamber, on the corners of the wall, on the bed as well. So many cushions. Adder lacked fingers to count all of them. This was, in other words, Sep's room.
Alrighty then, what do you got in store for me? I hope you ain't forgotten we're still in public. Not that I think you're thinking about that, just throwing that out there.
Once more, no reply. The only sound other than Adder's voice was the one produced by a ghostly projection of Sep using an inked pine needle to fill the pages of a worn-out book. Adder took a few steps around this image of Sepp, enjoying his newfound mobility as he studied her factions. Now, excited may be a bit too much to describe her, and impatient would be too harsh. She looked extremely disappointed.
Oh, what's that silly little frown for, dear? Were you expecting the dessert cart instead?
Wah! I've been stabbed! It's Arrow. Lurking while building Legos with soon-to-be step-siblings. Oh, nice! I love building Legos still. Merry Christmas. And have fun. Thanks for lurking.
No, our servants have the decency to knock before they come in.
The room became a blur for a brief moment as the door opened to reveal the silhouette of a doe. The jewelry she wore manifested itself sooner than her face. Adder jumped back behind the bed instinctively as he saw the older woman walking in. He had only crossed words with her twice in his life, but that had been enough to engrave Miss Rashel's name into his memory. A woman with a face that seemed to be perpetually locked in a smile. But it wasn't just a shallow smile, no. Her hatsa remained still, like a glass of water. Sepp turned her face back to the mirror watching the scene, determined to look completely unfazed as she discreetly switched the book for a comb.
Is it too much to ask for a little privacy in my room at least?
Privacy? Oh, Jacif, everything that happens within these walls is private. Privacy is my business, after all. But it's especially my business when the only Barhan dancer in this house decides to disappear right before her first show of the day.
I know I've looked at this before, but I'm getting that pull again of the, I know you from somewhere. Cassie Ulu. Ah, the name is even familiar. Uh-oh. Why do I know you? Into the Wild Green Yonder is quite decent. A bit weird to imagine it would have been the finale, but still good. Oh, that's right! It was supposed to be the finale. I haven't seen it. Sapphire. She sounds so familiar.
I'm more than made up for it doing that stupid fortune teller sideshow you prepared for me. What else do you want?
She's been my favorite singer since I was 13. Do you have like a YouTube? Maybe I know some stuff that she, like, maybe I know her singing.
What was it indeed? Let's see. Privacy, business, first showing in the morning. Oh, there you go. That's what I wanted to tell you. You missed your new introduction. A fiery princess born among dunes and ruins. The very last descendant of a long and mighty dynasty. Legends say that she was sired by the sun itself under the guise of a gazelle. Dugga, dugga, duck, here come the drums, building up the reveal. We know not her true name, only her legacy. And so we call her by the name she would have been given in times of yore. Everything goes quiet. You step into the flames, and I shout, Jacif, Princess of Fire and Sand! Woo! Ovation! Everybody loves you.
Are those stars in her eyes, by the way? Because I love it.
No. Oh no. You didn't just say princess.
I did just say princess. Oh no.
What? How? No! I can't be a princess? Really? Why don't you go ahead and tell them to call me Sepp while you're at it?
Dear, I would never. I know how important your stage name is to you, and you know I adore your taste. Jacif is such a great little nickname. So mysterious and exotic and...
Profitable.
powerful. Too much, perhaps. I'm afraid the title of queen sounded a bit too inaccessible. Men don't like having their power contested, dear. It's bad for business.
Ah, yes. The ever-thriving business of horn eating.
What you talking about? I can name 5 men right now that would love to call a woman queen.
Well, someone's feeling sarcastic tonight. Are you really sure you're not expecting anyone else, dear? You radiate an aura of longing and solitude and...
That wench told you, didn't she?
I was going to say that you keep your eyes on the window like a grieving widow, but I appreciate your theory too. Care to elaborate on which wench should tell me what?
Why? What would keep me from lying to you if I did? You should go and ask that herd of snitches instead. Someone's bound to tell on me.
Oh, I would, believe me. But your sisters are all very busy at the moment. I know this may come as a surprise to you, but some of us have to do something called work.
Not again, please.
You know when the other girls put on their fancy clothes and go spend some private time with all the well-off dear that come home? That's called working, dear.
Oh my God.
They get paid for that.
No.
Amazing.
I know! And to think you do the same for free.
The dictionary lacked words to describe the color Sep's face turned. I have worked with women like this, and I'm feeling some kind of feeling.
So what are you going to do if I bring someone over again? Ground me?
Ground me, she says. Deceive. I do miss the times when I could scare you with that, but you're not a little girl anymore, are you? Look at you. You've grown so fast. And so much more than Thought and I could have expected. No wonder you have the whole city on your tail.
Sep instinctively hid her derriere behind her hands, embarrassed. Adder did his best not to follow the motion.
Don't think I don't understand where you're coming from, dear. You're young. You're wild. And I'm not saying that you can't have a little fun. But this is the Desert Rose, not just Thief's charity for handsome, needy souls. I need some profit to keep this whole place running, but you seem determined to remain a living net loss. You know I have my hands tied, don't you? Your mother would curse me from beyond if I let you work here. Not to mention what your brothers would do.
I'm sorry. Do I have more than one brother now?
Well, don't forget that your one and only brother has ears everywhere. If he hears that someone dared put a finger on you, the guards will find a streak of bodies hanged by the hooves in the sewers. And I will be right there to say, I told you.
Adder gulped as he imagined the scene. He had met overprotective fathers and brothers in his many failed attempts at courting does in his town, but most of the time they just laughed at his horn size and let him be.
Well, it's about time I prepare the next show. Do what you want with your life, but don't forget that you need to start pulling your own weight. If you still can.
Oof. Miss Rochelle finished her cheeky remark with a slap to Sep's cheek. No, not the face one. The one that would have at least left her with some righteous fury and a semblance of dignity. The door closed behind Miss Rochelle, but her presence remained long after she left. How long, exactly, was the amount of time it took Sep to stick her tongue out at the door?
Yeah, that'll show her.
Sep picked up her book once more as she made her way to the bed, unknowingly accompanied by Adder's restless thoughts.
Good thing you're late.
Adder started, thinking she was talking directly to him again. The initial scare passed once he realized that it had been nothing but a stray thought, and so he decided to investigate the source of her woes. A deep, dark blue hue covered what little sky could be seen beyond the lattice covering the balcony, and it was only getting more and more intense as the lamp tender snuffed out the ferrules one by one.
Oh! I get it. So this is what you wanted to show me, huh? Oh, Sep, I never would have taken you for the sign type.
Yeah, the boing sound was really good. Boing. Adder took a seat by her side, watching her reaction change eagerly as a pebble flew right into the window. Now, distraught may be a bit too much to describe her, and apprehensive would be too harsh. She was just being silly. Sep put the book down once more, straightening her silk robe as she walked nonchalantly toward the window. Pebbles kept flying into the balcony and walls, but she was far more interested in messing with her clothes. Her visitor's insistence amused her, ever so slightly, but she wouldn't usually let that show.
Oh, come on, Sep. Don't keep a buck waiting while you're here contemplating.
Her nightcloth was a bit too tidy for her taste. Perhaps if the collar hung looser.
You look darn perfect as always, ma'am. Open the
godforsaken window this instant!
Say what?
I knew it. I was like, it's not going to be us. Adder's neck twirled over itself with the ugliest crack as his attention switched from Sep to the window.
I know you're in there, damn it! Why are you keeping me waiting?
You're the one who's late, you imbecile. I should just let you scream down there until the guards come looking for you.
Sep looked up, seemingly exchanging glances with Adder for a moment.
But I'm feeling pretty generous tonight.
Sep unlocked the window with a knowing smile and the confidence of a dancer that has played their song successfully 1,000 times. Adder followed, aghast. Her silhouette manifested against the lattice, commanding an absolute silence in the street below. Not even the burly fallow deer, expecting her by the pergola, could escape the overwhelming pressure of her apparition. This quietude wasn't meant to last, however.
What a strange vision. I see a sun in the night. No. Foolish me. It must be the one they call Jasif, blessing me with her light.
I just imagined Elbar being the kind of guy that he'd have, like, the boombox, like, holding up the boombox outside the window. He'd be that extra. Sep barely managed to keep herself from smirking at the sight of the ridiculous mask sitting on top of her nightly visitor's enormous snout. In his mind, this was surely the first time this conversation had taken place. But Sep had memorized all the steps at this point. She had rehearsed her show, sold the tickets, and won the crowd 12 times over.
I am the one they call Jasif indeed. And you? What words should I use for a masked madman screaming in the middle of the night?
Madman will suffice, for I have indeed lost my wits and my mind. I saw you dancing among flames today, and with every move I felt a forbidden passion, setting my heart ablaze. I fear your lovely image has seared into my eyes for all eternity. I have therefore come to announce myself as your most fervent servant and admirer. My sword shall greet the throat of any man that attempts to claim your affections for himself. Princess Jasif.
Elbar's new fit of courtly poetry became a distant echo as Sep took both hands to her face.
I'm going to choke that woman in her sleep.
The thought disappeared as soon as it arrived, unheard by anyone except Adder, who mentally patted Sep's shoulder. Hidden! Merry Christmas!
So may I have a lock of red hair to remember our affair.
You can have my whole tail if it'll make you shut up.
Sep's words slipped from her mouth before she could catch them. The world froze for a moment as her suitor stood agape. With a single misstep, she found herself nearly falling to the ground and alone in uncharted territory. The music went on even though she had lost her tempo.
But babe, I wrote this myself! I even had one of my guards follow you to find out which balcony led to your room. Also, my words could reach you. I wanted to pay you a nightly visit. Isn't that romantic?
Yeah, he would definitely be holding the boombox over his head. Dozens of disembodied paragraphs scuttled through Adder's skull, unstopped as Sep mentally went over all the nightly romance books in her library in a panic, desperately hoping to find the right cue to jump back into their little dance.
Ha! You dare speak of romance after exposing your intention to trespass? Sneaking under my window only to make your way into my bed is awfully inapt of one that claims to serve me. You may as well just be a common thief.
But how can I be a thief when you have stolen my heart?
There it is!
Do not doubt my word, Jasif. I am no lowly horn-eater. My desires are lacking in lust. It is love I have come to give you.
Is that so? Then leave. Leave at once, and do not come back until you bring proof that you do not wish to steal my affection.
A quest? For your favor! Yes! I shall go and prove my...
Alvar's so extra.
Yeah, good night.
The masked deer smirked as he held on to his sword, running off to, conquer hearts, or whatever it is that a captain of the guard does in his spare time. Sep couldn't have cared any less if she tried at that precise moment.
Well, butter my backside and call me a biscuit, Sep. You weren't kidding when you said you got 'em wrapped around your little finger. I'm almost glad to see I wasn't the only one you played with tales of knights and princesses. Almost.
Aw. Sep was about to lock the window when her eyes caught a glimpse of what looked like a pile of hay attempting to walk away.
That's what I get for talking.
First you eavesdrop on my past, and now you spy on my present. Why, Adder, perhaps you should be the one reading my fortune.
Well, that narrator totally sounds like you. Ah, yes.
Hey now! That's a load of radish stew. I wasn't listening in. Nope. No, ma'am. My pa taught me better than that. I was just taking a stroll around the district and,
And that narrator totally loves to stumble over words every 5 seconds, too. Man, they should replace her.
Looking for a place to spend your rivets? And here I thought you were the type to take matters into his own hands.
Sep's words took a moment to sink in. Past Adder pointed at the gazelle and puffed his cheeks up, failing to grasp the proper use of language to reply to her accusation.
better stop that if you want me to show you what I can do with these hands.
You about to catch these hands? Okay.
Wait, hold up. Not like that. I mean it in the bad way. Like I'm gonna whoop your ass if you don't. Can I get a moment to think this through?
I love him so much. Adder would remember the sheer third-person pain of this out-of-body experience and replay it in his nightmares for the rest of his lifetime and part of the next. Sep was rather gracious about it in retrospective.
I get the distant feeling you are mad at me.
Mad? Mad? I ain't mad. I'm hungry and bruised and dizzy and my head hurts and I got lost a couple of times and I'm starving, but I ain't mad, all right? So listen up and listen well, because I got something to tell you.
I'm listening. Sheesh.
I love their dynamic so much, too. I can't get over it.
You got me pegged all wrong, you hear? I ain't in the business of eating horns. Never been and never will be. And I don't care how pretty you think you are. Even if I liked you, you can't just go around stealing kisses like it was no big deal. That ain't right, ma'am.
Oh, but I haven't stolen anything. I fully intend to pay for that kiss, handsome.
What the hell's that supposed to mean? You seen a price tag on my face? Buy 2 kisses to get average interest-free installment plan?
How does he even know what that is?
Now you're just being melodramatic.
That was a
I
good
don't know
line.
what that word means. I don't even know why I'm telling you any of this. I just wanted to prove to myself I was smart enough to stay put all night without thinking of calling you once. But then I heard that dumbass hollering down your window, and I got so worried that...
So worried that you hid behind a corner and waited until he left? That's helpful.
Darn right I hid. You see the size of that sword on his belt? You look just fine up there, but I would have lost my neck if I butted in.
Sep's eyebrows raised slowly as she let her head fall on her hand.
Did you break your backbone when you fell from the bridge?
Excuse you, ma'am. I'm double backbone, triple backboned even. But I'm telling you, I could have died for nothing, and you don't even flinch. You really just don't. You know what? This ain't worth it. I'm going home.
But wait! You can't just leave like that. I still have to pay you back.
Adder halted mid-step. He threw his shoulders back and forth as the silence grew thicker in the street.
I may not be all that smart, ma'am, but I've learned. Oh, I'd say I've learned a lesson or two on how to keep my head on my shoulders since I came to this city. And I can tell right away, you ain't the type to return favors. I don't know what a Yasif or a Sep or a plain old Zeld ever want from me, but you're gonna have to find yourself another buck to laugh at tonight.
Is that so? Fine then. If you see the one-eyed chub I was waiting for on the way back home, wish him luck figuring out how to read gazes all on his own.
You ain't got nothing to worry about, ma'am. He'll just have to do without magic as usual.
I hope he can do without food, too, because I'm going to throw away the desserts I ordered for him.
That's...
Uh-oh.
No. Yeah? For real? No, it's a bluff. You're bluffing.
Am I?
Both adders watched intently as Sep unlocked the window and extended an arm slowly through it. She opened her whole hand save for 2 fingers, letting a tiny square pastry dangle outside the mashrabia. I'm not even gonna try mashrabia. But it was not any pastry. Oh no. Adder nearly drowned on his saliva as he stared at the beautiful puff pastry filled with fig marmalade, covered with a generous layer of nuts slathered in honey and topped with a beautiful plump date cut to resemble a flower with an almond in its center. That sounds delicious. It was probably worth more than Adder's total lifelong earnings. It was the kind of pastry kingdoms fell and were built for. It was a honeyed dental cavity just waiting to happen.
Catch.
The pastry seemed to float briefly in the air as Sep let go of it. Adder hurled himself towards the divine gift that was being offered to him and cushioned its fall, thanking the gods for his colossal pastry-catching hands. He didn't so much as eat his bribe as inhale it, believing himself unworthy of presenting such a treat upon his taste buds. The discovery of this new order in the scale of flavor could have been classified as a religious experience for a boy that had been feeding exclusively on tiny, stale potatoes for a year, and mostly oats before that, and sometimes the cobblestones.
I think I'm falling in love, man.
Just don't fall on your face again on the way up.
There was surely more banter to be appreciated as the newly bought buck dashed almost vertically up a column. It was, after all, the beginning of a relationship based upon pastries, quick wits, and an uninhibiting wine. Oh, this explains a lot from Chapter 2. But Adder couldn't hear a word through his wailing.
Sep! Sep, can you hear me? Oh, please, Sep, just one. Just let me eat one of those, I beg you. What kind of messed up torture is this?
Aw,
What in the name of the Hadza are you doing?
I'm hungry. The smugly complacent image of past Sep had been replaced by a smugly annoyed present Sep.
Feeling sorry for myself? I thought it's what you were trying to...
For the last time, I wasn't trying anything. I already told you what to do. You just need to use your powers to sort through my emotions and find the relevant memories. Did you intend to sit here and watch the whole season go by until you stumbled upon something important?
What? No, not at all. Come on, Sep. I ain't that dumb. That's just what it looks like from the outside. Yep. But, I'm open to ideas if you got them.
A volcano about to erupt would have looked far more benevolent than Sep at that moment.
Please tell me what to do, ma'am. This is too weird for me.
Help.
I'd say I can't believe this, but then again, it's my fault for putting so much trust in a poor excuse for an apprentice such as yourself.
Say what? Think you got that backwards, Missy?
I was about to say.
You were a poor excuse for a teacher. Every time I asked you to let me read you, you just looked away, said some weird riddle, and told me to think about it later when we were done with everything else.
Ooh.
A good teacher makes sure to only share as much information as their student can handle, and a good student is supposed to strive to learn more than they're taught. You should have done your homework and practiced on other people.
In my defense, ma'am, homework is bullshit.
And how was I supposed to do that? I spent moons trying to read my friends' gazes, but it was like I was all out of fire, you know? It was darker than before when I tried to look inside them. I couldn't see nothing at all. Even my boss looked colder than ever. But after you showed up, I stopped feeling like that. When I felt your warmth and I saw you smiling and talking to me, I don't know, something changed inside me. I felt like you'd lit my oil lamp again.
Don't think I didn't notice.
All right, that's it. If you're gonna be a smartass and twist all my words to make me sound like I'm Randy as a trout, you can go find the way out of your head all on your own.
Oh, of course. It's me misunderstanding you.
Yes, ma'am. My name's not Randy. It's Adder.
Hey, keep that sarcasm where I can see it.
And where would that be?
Adder opened and closed his mouth wordlessly a few times before turning around and marching away from the desert rose. Wandering aimlessly around the desert in an angry haste seemed like a good idea until it was obvious that it was not. A quick glance back revealed a rather amused Sepp waiting expectantly for Adder's unavoidable concession.
So where were we before you did the thing where you try to embarrass me so I'll stop talking about a thing you don't want to talk about? Something, we're gonna wind up dead if you don't teach me right?
Fine, I'll be lenient and take my share of the blame. I tried to teach you to read gazes in the same way Mom taught me how to do so when I was a fawn, but it's evident that I was already leagues ahead of you back then.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass and a thick skull and I'm lanky and this is the closest my family's ever gotten to reading. See, I ain't arguing or anything. Can we move on with the lesson now?
Sepp stopped walking for all reply. Adder mimicked her, secretly congratulating himself for winning the argument somehow. Ignoring her traveling companion's silent rejoicing, Sepp stared at the ground until a cushion sprouted from it, fully formed and fluffy. Adder awaited his turn eagerly, but she didn't extend the favor to him, lest resting his butt on anything better than sand would weaken his resolve.
Tell me, Adder, do you know why us gaze readers have survived so long? Why no one knows our names when our power is so unbelievably useful?
Oh man, more riddles? I don't know, man. I figure either you're good at keeping secrets or you end up getting torched every other week like the merchant.
Yeah, what's up with that anyway?
Close, but not quite. You are correct in one assumption, however. If a Barhan fortune teller was to say exactly what they heard inside someone else's mind, they'd be thrown into the pyre without any further questions.
Adder hates sand. It gets everywhere. Okay.
It's nothing quite as simple as that, no. There's a bigger reason why we, of all Sephi, have escaped pursuit. Even with our powers being so versatile and obvious, we are not infallible, nor irreplaceable. We weren't born to announce great prophecies or change fates.
There was a brief pause. The gazelle harumphed solemnly, trying to signal that silence was out of the question.
All right, Teach. What do we do with the stuff we find out if we can't say it, or change it, or do nothing about it?
Hi, Lynn. Hello. Merry Christmas.
Our job consists of weaving histories, Adder. We take the broken bits and pieces that make up a past and tie them together to form a present. We learn and advise, for understanding the past is the closest anyone can get to predicting the future. These are our fortunes.
So we're alive because we're a bunch of scammers making up tall tales. Got it. Mind if we skip to the important bits now?
Ugh! How can you be so bad at this? You're supposed to expand your mind, understand the heft and malleability of your abilities in shaping someone else's fortune, and realize how liberating the lack of your own preset destiny is.
Duh.
You still speaking Cyrnar?
Sepp made a noise that Adder couldn't possibly describe, but that managed to transmit without delay the feeling of getting cussed out in another language.
Look, man, I don't mean no offense, but we're just wasting time or whatever it is you waste here. I just gotta know how to use my eye magic thing to spot your weaknesses. Nothing else.
You can't. That's not what this power does. All you can do is follow a current of emotion through the Hatsa, watching the many memories it ties together until you reach its logical conclusion. There's a shared source for all of them.
Okay, so how do I do that?
I don't know, but it's not that hard, damn it. Think of the emotion you want to capture and then follow it. Spin the threads, sail the current, pull the carrots out, or whatever it is that you farmers do. Just picture what you want.
I think the metaphors just don't cut it for me. Maybe it's because I'm dense, but I've always been the kind of buck that learns better watching someone else do things first. Riddle me this. What do you imagine when you're trying to find your way through this stuff?
Actually, to be fair to Adder, I'm the same way. I don't learn anything until I watch someone do it, and then it doesn't stick until I do it while they're watching me. And they're like, yes, that is correct. You got a new PC for Crim Crams? Nice! I haven't actually done Christmas yet, but I built my mother a brand new PC for Christmas, and I'm bringing, should be bringing it to her tomorrow. Sep looked completely taken aback at the question. Her eyes shifted nervously from place to place until she realized that there was literally nothing else to look at in the desert but the boy in front of her.
It's a diary, okay? I know what you're going to say. Talking to myself is weird. Well, screw that. I've spent most of my life alone. Besides, I've been writing since I was a child. Do you know how hard it is to give up that kind of... You don't have a clue what a diary is, do you?
Talking to yourself isn't weird. Adder shook his head awkwardly. He felt almost bad, seeing how pointlessly flustered she had gotten. I used to keep a diary. Sometimes I still write to myself. After a few moments of contemplation, Sep turned her face down, set towards her lap. She opened her hands with her palms turned up, watching them intently as dust began to gather in the shape of a rather unassuming, worn-out book. It was the same one he'd seen in her room.
A diary is like a friend in a book. It's a place where you write down all of your memories. So when I'm feeling nostalgic, be it in the real world or here, I just open my diary, think of what kind of memory I want to see, look for an entry, and...
Sounds easy, that should do.
Adder snatched the book from Sep's hands, casually turning it and flipping the pages as he tried to figure out how to use the book.
Hey! Return my diary to me at once! It's private!
Sep, I'm in your mind, boo-boo.
Come on, Sep, you know me. Literacy's the name of a soup where I come from. I just want to take a quick look at this diary thing and see if I can find anything to...
There's nothing for you in there! Give it back! I said, give it back!
Sep tugged at the book with a strength she couldn't have possibly had in the real world. Adder instinctively pulled back, afraid that either the book or Sep would get hurt if he let go. They both grappled with the book, pushing it back and forth until it finally slipped away from Adder's clumsy hands, floating momentously open over the two. Adder dashed towards the book, throwing himself to the ground to catch it. Sep didn't wait for the fall, using Adder's hands as a trampoline to jump and grab the book before it plummeted.
Don't you dare touch my things ever again.
I get fussy about my own privacy too. Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't have wanted anybody to read my stuff. She clutched the book against her chest, far angrier and more embarrassed yet than she'd meant to let on. Adder was blowing on the surprisingly painful step marks she left when he noticed something falling from the sky. A little piece of paper. It landed carefully on Adder's hands of all places, as if inviting him to look at it.
Sep, wait, you forgot a...
The ground before Adder began trembling as a small dust storm gathered around the page. Walls began rising from the ground as a new room emerged, forcing them both to move back towards each other.
What page was that? What did you...
Honey, please, let me in.
Uh-oh. We're Tiny Bab again.
Ah! Go away! No!
Oh, Sep, I'm so sorry I scared you. I'm not mad, see? You didn't make me mad. I just got a tad upset because I was trying to have an important conversation with Dad while you kept tugging at my sleeve and I lost my temper. I didn't mean to yell at you like that. I'm sorry, dear. I really am. It's not your fault this is happening.
The gazelle fawn stepped away from the door, letting the doe walk in at last.
That's okay. We all make mistakes, as long as you understand.
She's so cute. She's so babby. Look at her cute little face. Sepp took Czar's hand and patted it softly, like an old woman would.
Where did you learn that?
Tree Dad says it. He talks funny.
See, even the game recognizes that Illigrab is Tree Dad.
Illigrab is not your dad, sweetheart.
Illigrab is everyone's dad.
You're not my mom, too. But that's okay. I like you more than my old mom. She never said sorry to me. I'll make you a present for being a good mom.
The tiny gazelle turned away from Czar and began scampering around the room, looking for the perfect cushion to plop down on. She produced a piece of charcoal from the sleeves of her dress and a crumpled up piece of paper and began doodling on it. Or at least that's what Czar thought at first. She soon realized that the lines Sepp was drawing on the paper were far more elaborate than mere scribbles.
Did Illigrab teach you how to write too?
No, Big Bro teached me. He says I have to do his homework to pay for the room or he'll kick me out. But he doesn't know that I like it. Shh.
That's so cute. Czar didn't have time to react to this revelation, as the piece of sooty paper was shoved straight into her snout.
For you, it says I like Mom a lot. So you don't forget and get angry again.
Put it on the fridge. Czar stared at the piece of paper, flummoxed, then at Sepp, who was looking back at her expectantly in turn. And then she gave Sepp the strongest hug she'd ever given anyone. It was, perhaps, the first hug the fawn had ever known. Czar let go of her all of a sudden, prompting a quizzical look from her child.
I have just the perfect gift for you. Wait right here.
The image of a happy mother dashing out of the room dissolved into heavy clouds of dust. The gazelle that remained after the sand dissipated looked entirely too meek and gaunt to be the Sepp Adder knew.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
Adder bent down, picked the piece of paper, and handed it back to Sepp. She pushed the whole diary into his hands instead.
Keep that stupid thing. It's obvious that you can make my diary work just as well as I can.
No way! I can't even read it! How am I supposed to... Huh? Wait, I love Mom? Are these words? What's going on? Hold up. Don't tell me I'm a natural word reader.
Oh my god.
Of course not. Text stops making any sense inside people's minds for some reason. The writing here doesn't make any sense either. It just says what I know it should say. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to assume that once you've seen the memory attached to the entry, you know, too.
Isn't that a thing, like, it's true for me. I don't know. I've read it somewhere. I don't remember where I read it, but it's definitely true for me. I don't know how true it is for everyone, but you can't read text in dreams or something like that. Like, anytime that I'm ever looking at what I think is writing or a book or something in a dream, like, I'm not really reading anything. You guys know what I'm talking about? Maybe that's just me, but I read somewhere that it was like, you can't actually read, like, in your dreams or whatever. And I was like, that's weird. But also, now that I think on it, is kind of true.
Whoa! Oh, you're right! This ain't the only page with words. Let me see. I can read the ones I saw before, and... Hey! I think I know this one-eyed chub you're talking about here.
Fantastic. Have fun stripping me of the last readout of privacy I had left in my life.
Hey, Sepp, look at me. I won't do nothing like that, okay? I promise I'll only read what I need to find a way out and give it back as soon as I'm done.
There's no need. It's not the real one.
With a flick of her wrist, the book burst into innocuous flames within Adder's hands. Ow. The smoke and the ashes all vanished into the air within seconds. My brother brought over edibles. Oh, hell yeah. I'm jealous. I swear I've read a couple times in my mind. It could be that it's just bullshit, but I remember reading that and just being like, yeah, actually, you might be right. Sepp looked at Adder's hand, focused, and made a new one appear exactly where the previous one was.
Nothing is real here.
Sepp vanished without another word, and soon the rest of the world followed after. The diary remained unaffected by the darkness that extended in all directions, however, as if inviting Adder to get lost in its contents. Something told him that the moment he turned a page, there would be no turning back. Uh-oh, it's time. They were key lime flavored? That sounds delicious. Oh no. I'm ready. I kind of want to know what would happen if I went, but I don't know if this is going to be like the fight. Oh, I love this art. Oh, interesting. Okay. Our sophists, aka me, are working tirelessly every day to ensure that the diary works like a charm. If, in the off chance you find any bugs... No, you didn't, but if you super did, please contact my support email. Yeah, I'll let you know. Oh, wow. Okay. So it works like the encyclopedia. Oh, wow, there's a lot of them. Okay, we saw... Wait, no, it's not marked like we saw I Love Mom. Okay, well, we'll start here first. Oh, okay. Dear Diary, Mom told me today that she's a doe and I'm a gazelle, but we're family, and I said, I know, but she said the rest don't know, so they're dumb, and I agree. Technically. Sure.
No, I refuse. No matter how you insist, I can't just choose one.
Oh, okay.
You are all my favorites.
But I'm wondering if I've seen these already, if there's new stuff in it that I didn't need to look out for.
It doesn't work like that, Mom. You have to pick one.
Why? Can't I love all my children equally?
It's not love, it's law. Illigrip says that it's the parents' duty to choose one child to favor as the heir of their estates to prevent a divation of power and infighting among their descendants.
I need to have a word with Mr. Buntalos about his idea of age-appropriate lessons.
The doe's coattails meandered behind her as she made her way through the pergola. Sepp followed them closely.
He also said that I don't need to worry about any of that because I'm not a doe like you. Is that true, Mom?
The trail of ghostly silk came to a sudden halt. The doe turned around to lift the tiny gazelle between her arms.
You know what, Sepp? You are my only daughter. So that technically makes you my favorite daughter, doesn't it?
What does technically mean?
Kind of.
That means I can technically keep my room?
No, dear. You are destined for far greater things. You will have your very own palace when you're older. Much, much bigger than this one.
But I don't want to go. I want to stay here with you. I don't need a big room. It can be small. The smallest one.
Ah, see, there is. There's a skip scene memory button in the upper left, but it's covered in the stream. Oh, I see it. The day started with a promising invitation and the massive nuisance that attending it would suppose for Sepp. This was it. Her first foray into the family business, heeding the whims of some dear other than Miss Rochelle, being paraded around town like a prize, feeling everyone stare on her and her patron. No, wait, she enjoyed that much. It was the questionable poetry what was killing her.
Ah, Jacith! How have I longed to talk to you face like this. There's no greater distance than time, milady, when your company I lack. For if you were to travel beside me...
1,000 leagues would seem a yard. Fancy that. You look fantastic for being nearly 200 years old. If it's true you write your own words, Sir Askadath.
Ha! Discredited by a throwaway quote spoken in haste. Had I known I was in the presence of a fellow thespian connoisseur, I'd have found something more discreet to recite than a traveling troupe classic, like well-willed words.
Don't worry. I wouldn't know what's cliched and what's not. I'm not allowed to attend any performance outside the Desert Rose. Miss Rochelle insists that public theaters are not fit for royalty and that I should be content with reading books instead.
What? Blasphemous.
That is absolute utter nonsense! Theater is an art!
Yeah.
Had I been born under different circumstances, I would be touring the kingdom with my company! Not as a mere mummer, mind you, but as the most goddamn renowned actor in all of Akathor! Alas, my endless list of nobiliary obligations takes far too much time from my schedule as it is, but not enough to ever skip a play, big or small. I shall let that stewardess of yours know that she's an uncultured beast, if you do not do so first.
Please don't. As much as I'd enjoy seeing you insult her, that'd be far too reckless of me. I shouldn't risk losing the only home I've known over a few laughs.
What do you mean, Jasif? Is the Desert Rose not your property? The last bastion, the remains of your kingdom?
It's a long story. One filled with murder, treachery, and usurpations.
Go on.
I should indeed be the owner of the Desert Rose by family right, but Mother never named a legitimate successor. She probably never intended her business to outlive her, but she didn't intend to leave us as soon as she did either.
Y'all should definitely have a death plan. I know that's real morbid to throw at you on Christmas, but this just reminded me of that. There's no time like the present. Definitely have a death plan.
When she died, everything turned to chaos. Some fled, thinking that we would tear each other's throats over the deed of ownership. Some left, trying to clear her murderer's name. I stayed, too young and too scared to know what would become of me. Someone had to take the reins of my house eventually. Miss Rochelle, my mother's oldest apprentice. She promised that she would only manage the Desert Rose while I was too young to do so myself. But now I realize that a gazelle will never be old enough in a doe's eyes. My chance to rule and my chance to escape both disappeared a decade ago, and so I came to a tragic conclusion. I'd rather see my mother's legacy stolen than destroyed, and I'm afraid that I was part of the deal as well.
Your words feel as swords sunk deep into my heart, and yet their painful steel shines with the promise of change in your luck. I see now that meeting you was far more than coincidence, Jasif. It was fate! Yes! What else could it be? We are both exiles kept away from our legacy. Our reputations torn asunder by mistakes we made in our childhoods. You are not allowed to leave your palace, whereas I am not allowed to return to mine. But this shall not stand. If your evil stepmother has taken over your kingdom, I will find a way to restore it. And if your rightful mandate cannot be returned, I will found a new kingdom for you to rule.
Elbar turned towards the tower that led to the royal pathway. Sep instinctively took a step back.
Come now, don't lag behind! There is much to be discussed, my princess.
I can work with this. The current became more and more complex as Adder traveled down this path. A mix of mysterious emotions and torrential thoughts that would make little sense to him without further context. Memories missing. Uh-oh. Does that mean that I made a wrong turn? Okay, well, hang on. Dear Diary, Mom says you are she said you are a friend in a book. And I can tell you things when she is busy, and I can tell her, you are like in talented but not dumb. I was talking about Gyoff. That's so cute.
Honey, please.
Okay,
let
wait.
me in.
Skip.
Hey, Sip, so, I've been thinking real hard about that thing I said about being
Wait.
responsible and
Okay.
whatnot, so I think I'm ready to take this step. Ma'am, will you be my wife?
Adder. Seb nearly spit her whole drink on Adder's face.
What? What? Are you seriously asking me to marry you?
Look, I know it's sudden and it's weird and my parents will never look at me the same, but it's the right thing to do. And I don't want my fawns growing up without a father.
Fawns? Whatever gave you the idea that I'm expecting?
You know, or maybe you don't know. Please tell me someone told you about this. Hold up, maybe gazelles just don't make fawns like we do. See, when a deer and a doe love each other very much. Hey, Sip, quit acting like a fawn. This is important. Come on, does it look like I'm telling a joke here?
He's so cute. The thread of thought Adder was following dissipated into something untraversable. This curtain wouldn't take him any further. Aw. I like this. Dear Diary, if anyone other than me is reading this, please burst into flames and kill them. Dear Diary, Igai came back last night. Oh, that's Gyoff's dad. He smelled really bad. Gyoff says that he's here to return me to my real parents because everybody hates me. I hit him. He hit me back. We hit each other a lot, and I got so angry that I grabbed his head and pulled at his hair. And then I felt really strange inside, like my eyes were really sore. I don't know what I did, but Gyoff was crying. He wouldn't let me see, but it must have hurt a lot. Mom came when she heard, but Igai was with her, and he got really mad. He screamed at me and at Mom, asking who I was and calling Mom names. I don't know what's happening. They left me all alone up here. I can still hear them screaming in Mom's room. I'm scared. Uh-oh.
Mom? Mom? Ah! Mom!
Uh-oh. Once more, Adder felt his mind being desperately dragged away from this memory. As much as he tried to see what lay beyond the door, the smell of blood and smoke clung to his skin as everything went dark. The thread of thought Adder was following dissipated into something untraversable. Okay. I'm guessing that there's a lot that I have to find the right memory first and then follow it. Why is everyone screaming at me? I can't choose. I should have been paying attention if any of the other entries had more than one page. I should have left. I hope Gyoff gets stabbed in his sleep. I hope he dies as he crawls back. I give up. The nightmares won't stop. I hate deer. I hate deer.
Oh, honey, come on. You can't stay mad at your poor brother forever.
He is no brother of mine.
What would Thar say if she saw you two fighting like that?
Oh, that's right. I keep saying Zar, but it is Thar. I keep forgetting about that.
She can't say anything anymore, can she?
Oh, no. No, wait. Go back, go back, go back. Do it again, do it again.
Oh, honey, come on.
He is no
What would...
She can't.
Hey! It's we did it! A memory. recorded from a low angle, or rather that of a child looking up from her hiding spot behind a statue. It's Tree Dad. She stared intently as the usual giant tree man helped a most unusual red man off his back.
Welcome to the Desert Rose, oh wise merchant. I hope the road has treated you well. I've been looking forward to meeting you personally. Illigrab has told me many stories about you.
I always knew Illigrab was a Yaltsin, but to think he would mingle with actual strumpets.
Red, come on. I'm not asking for so much. 10 minutes. 10 minutes acting like a civilized person in front of Thaw.
You can stick your civilization where the sun doesn't shine! I was happy in the steppes, far away from all these senseless plots of yours. When will you get it in your head that I am retired?
Huh? What Sepp had mistaken for a furry statue of sorts moved all of a sudden. It swept Sepp right off her feet with a soft kick, and then grabbed her by her shirt before she touched the ground. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. The living statue proudly lifted its catch of the day up in the air for all to see.
Oh, there's a little slippery star. What did we say about sneaking around like that, Sepp?
No, I wasn't sneaking around. I was eavesdropping. Unhand me. Unhand me, I said. Mom, help.
No, if you wanted to meet our guests, you should have come and done so properly. Mr. Red has come a long way to see you. What sort of impression are you going to leave on him if you don't behave?
You misunderstand the purpose of my visit, woman. I haven't come here to see her. I have come here to be seen.
Following an unspoken order, the golem carried Sepp a few steps closer to the merchant's face so she could take a good look at him. A moment of expectation ensued. All the attendants stood in the solemn quietude as the young gazelle stared at her senior.
What are you? Is your name really Red? Is it 'cause you're red? You look really old. Where are your eyes? And your horns? What happened to your teeth? Your breath stinks.
Are you done yet?
Yeah.
What's any of it to you, you mannerless scamp?
Said mannerless scamp startled so badly that she managed to slip away from the living statue's grasp. She immediately ran to hide behind her mother, nothing short of terrified.
Shh, it's all right. I apologize, Mr. Red. She can be a little overwhelming when she gets excited.
Kids these days. In my day, we called that spoiled. And the cure was a good smack on the head with alongside of a cane. Isn't that right, Aina? Aina?
Her nose twitched slightly, as if bothered by a certain smell. The faintest trace of emotion began forming on her mane and snout, as her snout wrinkled and her eyebrows rose. The look Aina had on her face when her eyes found Sepp again was awfully casual. It wasn't all that different from the expression any mortal would wear upon remembering they had forgotten to hang out their laundry for the last several centuries. The merchant's cane flew right into Aina's chest before whatever thought passed through her mind could take form, putting a sudden stop to both her approach and her expression.
Commiserations for abducting the right child. We're done here.
What? You're leaving so soon? I was hoping we could discuss...
There is nothing left to discuss! Not until we have settled down, at least. Illigrab! Is my old abode still free?
I love Aina's long hair, by the way. Yo, Moose! Your voice narrating fits so well with the game's VAs. Thank you.
What? You're leaving...
There is...
You mean the Temple of Ereb? It was expropriated centuries ago. I mean, sure, you could buy it again, but it's a miracle it hasn't fallen apart yet. No one has tended to it since my grandfather wilted away.
Perfect! I hate getting used to new houses. Come on, Aina. We have a lot of stuff to carry back home.
Aina stared at Sepp a little longer before reluctantly following the merchant's footsteps.
Is he always like... that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh no, not at all. He usually swears a little more.
Oh, we picked right. A lonely child wandered the dark and narrow alleys of Heirloom for the first time in her life. The rainy season had left a misty fog that covered her escape. A welcome assistance, as her hooves kept slipping on the wet mud, leaving a clear trail to follow. But then again, who would ever look for her? She was alone. That was why she had left, searching for something. Someone, anyone who would understand. At last, she found 2 gazelles gathered under a balcony, warming their hands with a half-extinguished fire hidden under some bricks. Sepp took a deep breath, and then a step.
Tesakermat!
Excuse me?
Oh, did I pronounce it wrong? I'm so sorry. I haven't practiced my Vasacted in years. Here regard you. May we share the fire as siblings?
You are welcome to sit down, if that is what you're asking.
Sepp nodded, flustered, and then made a space for herself on the ground between them. The 2 gazelles exchanged uncomfortable glances.
So, what brings you here, little one? Did you get lost on your way back from an errand?
No, I just felt like doing this. I wanted to see what the city was like at night.
Ah, so this is your first time outside after curfew. No wonder you're so nervous. Worry not, you have come to the right people.
They're gonna kidnap us. Hang on. She sounds familiar. Like everyone sounds familiar. I just want to check. Oh no. Well, maybe we just don't know her name yet. Ba-doop.
Listen, the key to making it home in one piece is keeping your feet nimble and your fire low. Avoid the moonlight as much as you can. Deer can see better than us in the dark.
Come on, that's just hearsay.
Yeah, but Tad it is. Guards always see you before you see them. And if one finds you, you have to play dumb. And I mean really, really dumb. They are paid in Cetipas and would rather send you off on your way than waste time walking to the dungeon and back.
Yeah, I don't see it, these 2.
By the way, if you fancy a drink before going back home, there are a few friendly taverns just around the corner. No one will say a thing if they see a gazelle walking in.
Abigail Turner. Oh, okay. We worked together on Sword of the Necromancer. I think if I don't follow her on Twitter, I've seen her around Twitter.
Not like you'd need him. You look like a doe in that.
What do you mean? My horns are right here. See?
The other one is Flint. I love Flint.
Don't mind him. He's just jealous because his masters are a cheap lot. Those are some really good hand-me-downs, though. What house do you work for?
I don't work for anyone. Well, I mean, I kind of work in the Desert Rose, but not really. Val doesn't pay me yet because she says I'm still training and I have a lot to learn, and...
The older gazelles looked at each other, horrified.
We have to do something, right? This is like 10 different kinds of illegal.
Oh.
Wait, we shouldn't just jump to conclusions. Hey, kid, can you tell us what you're training for exactly?
I'm supposed to be training to become a dancer, but actually, what I'm really training for is becoming the next Jasif. I will restore or honor to what it once was.
The next? Oh, my son! You should have said so sooner! To think that the Jasif would spend our precious time scampering through dark alleys and huddling around a doused fire with us mere servants.
Don't encourage her, you iskap!
You are the only iskap here! Bow your head and apologize, Nuth! Don't you feel ashamed for teaching our son how to sneak like a street shrub on our first night outside, instead of showing her the proper path for a monarch?
I love Flint.
The proper path? You mean I shouldn't be here?
Of course not! See that footbridge above us, my son? It's called the Royal Path pathway, and it's a road reserved only for those of noble birth. And tell me, Jasif, who could be worthier of walking the skies than the daughter of the sun herself?
Wait, kid! Don't listen to him. He's just...
Yeah, how come no one ever told me about this? What am I doing wasting my time on the ground when I could be watching the city from up there?
Right? Come with me then. I'll show you to the end.
You two seriously have nothing better to do tonight than to make fun of a kid?
Hi, Tree Dad.
You know, I usually turn a blind eye on petty things such as barhand escapades after curfew, but incitement is a far more serious crime. Guards!
Sir Puntalos, please! It was him and him alone. I was trying to stop him, I swear!
You can play the blame game all you want in the dungeon. Take them both!
Aw.
What are you doing, Illigrab? Let them go! They're my friends!
No, they're not. I heard the whole thing, Sep. They were just laughing at you.
Wait, were you following me? How did you know I ran away from home? Who told you?
That's not the matter at hand here. You are not allowed to go into the royal pathway under any circumstances ever again! Have I made myself clear?
Tree Dad is angry.
No! It's not fair, damn it! Mom always said that I would grow up to become the next Jasif! You called me Jasif too when you left! Well, it's there in the title! The Royal Pathway! I deserve to be up there! Mom wouldn't want it that.
Look, Sep. Thar was a lovely woman. I wouldn't hesitate to call her one of the best people I ever met. But she was a doe.
Sorry, I just hit my pop filter.
Her kindness tinted her views so much that it obfuscated reality. This world looks nothing like she thought it did. At least not for you and I.
But that's not fair! Don't you get it? They should be listening to me. I am Jasif! If the world doesn't look like it should, I have to make it change! I'm not doing it for me! I'm doing it for them! Why can't anyone understand that?
Illigrab patted her head as softly as he could.
There is someone who could.
Ooh. Ooh, which one should I pick? No, I picked the wrong one. Wait, which one was that? Wait. Go back, I want to go back. Dear Diary, today I met another gazelle called Red and a beast called Aina, and they're mean. Mom says they're important and they'll help me, but I said no, because Aina's a beast. But Mom said Aina's a golem, but I'm pretty sure it's a beast and it wants to eat me. I haven't seen Gyof's and Taylid's dad in a long time. They're sad, but I'm glad because he's mean too, but they can't know that. When Illigrab and Red visit, Mom locks the door, and they won't let me hear what they're talking about, and they talk in Bazaktet, so I can't understand. They let me play with Aina while I wait, and I don't think she wants to eat me now. Mom tells me to be careful, but it's like playing with a very big doll. I ask her many things, but she doesn't reply. But I can hear her snore when I tell her she's rude, so I know she listens to me. I have staring contests with her, and every time she visits. It makes my eyes hurt, but I'm going to get better at it until I win. I think Taylid is afraid of Aina. He looks scared when I'm playing with her. I've told him that she doesn't want to eat us, but he runs away when she looks at him. Ral told me he's in love, and told me to keep it a secret. I told Mom. Sorry. Today I asked Illigrab if the merchant is his husband, because he's always screaming at him, and he gave me a hug. They're married. I keep telling you guys they're married. I was trying to make Aina blink today when I heard a voice. I looked around, but we were alone, so I asked her if she said something, and she looked at me, but she looked really scared. I told Mom, and she said I must have imagined it. Gyop heard it, and he made fun of me and said I'm going crazy. I'm not crazy, he's crazy. Taleb likes Aina too, and he wants her to live with us. Mom's gonna buy her, so I can have a friend here. See, I was going back and forth on whether or not Aina really was a golem. Iligrab and the merchant come home a lot, but sometimes we visit the temple too. There's a really pretty statue of Hirab, and we pray there. The merchant makes fun of my way of saying words in Bezaktet. I hear Aina laughing too sometimes. Mom says that Hirab made me, but I don't know if that's true. She doesn't let me read her thoughts, but I can still remember the face of my old father when I close my eyes. Maybe that wasn't my father after all. They could have found me just like Mom did. I think the statue looks like a girl. I like her horns. I could probably get back... Oh wait, is this the one? Oh, son! Thanks for the host. Happy Crimbo. How are you? How's your Christmas? Never mind, I hate gazelles too. They're all brainless and I hate them. Ilgram had to come get me, and I got scolded because none of those bastards understand who they're talking to. Ilgrab was right. I have to go see the merchant. He'll make me strong. He'll help me make everything right. This may be the last time we speak, diary. I'm leaving too. Is it this one? Yeah, it is. Okay. We made it. Oh. The fawn jumped out of her bed, ignoring the sheets she was dragging behind her and the dangers she posed on the carpets and vases that decorated her bedroom. Sap valiantly ventured into the dark corridors, where a child's nightmares always lured near. But she didn't fear them, no. All she needed to do was reach her mother's door. She'd be safe there.
Mom, I saw...
There was nothing at the other side of the door but an empty bed looking over a dusty moonlit chamber. The little girl observed the room from the threshold, afraid of stepping in. Until a mirror told her that she wasn't a little girl anymore. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I have to do something here first. Merry Crisis. Dear Diary, I know it has been a while. I'm not trying to avoid you, I just have very little to tell. I spend most of the day dancing bastardized versions of the songs Mom used to teach me, and when I'm not dancing, I'm arguing with Ral about the way she tries to change the songs even further. I've been trying to find someone to practice Bezaktet with, but to no avail. None of the few people who know it are willing to teach a child a language so powerful. Dear Diary, I had a nightmare today. I dreamt that a beast came for me and ate me, and how did I react? I called for Mom. I'm dying of shame just from telling you about it. Thank the gods no one heard me. And speaking of the divine, tomorrow is the big day. I will become an adult in the eyes of the gods or some such pointless tripe by swearing my loyalty to Akazor. As if. But those are the rules that have been set for me, are they not? I decided years ago that I would walk to Hirab's statue on my right of age. I will look at it in its empty eyes, and I will swear that I will find the power to do the things I need to do, to be the person I need to be. I have made it this far with my sanity intact. If that is not proof of my strength and determination, I'm not sure of what could ever be. It took me all of said strength and determination to not choke Ral tonight after I saw the traditional Baran dress she brought to celebrate my debut in society. It was not a dress, it was more like a quarter of a dress. She had the gall to spit on my history and then claim Mom had it made for me years ago. Does she think that I'm an idiot? The mere insinuation that Mom would ever make me wear anything quite so tasteless is revolting. Maybe that is what's giving me nightmares. Or perhaps it's my mind subtly telling me that I'd rather get eaten than go through with this. Dear Diary, I have tried to fill this page over and over, but ink alone can't convey the feelings that move my hand right now. My rite of passage came, and with it, Ral's obvious ploy to introduce me to what she refers to as the family business. I can't believe for 1 second Mom had anything to do with parading doughs around for deer to drool over. But arguing with that terrible woman is a pointless waste of time if I ever saw one. At first I was crawling out of my skin. With all those clothes on and all the fire burning around me, I felt exposed and awful and trapped. You don't even have anything to be ashamed of up there, Ral said, giving me a goddamn slap on the butt. I truly considered taking a torch to her dress and running. But then a thought struck me. Had I not practiced this dance 1,000 times? Was I not blood of the mightiest people who ever danced with fire? I could quietly die of shame in a corner, unheard and ignored like any other gazelle these beasts had ever met. Or I could burn for all to see, make them remember what they had just witnessed for the rest of eternity. They would not dare forget what they saw. And I was right. When the dance finished and I took the last steps to the center of the stage, they asked about me. They wanted to know my name, my story, my age, everything. And in a bout of inspiration, I proudly announced, "I am Jasif, and you need not know more." The deer went quiet, and then they all stood up and began whistling and clapping like they had lost their minds. That was power, Diary. Crawling out of my... Wait, wrong song. The fire and the gazes and all the fine words I've been taught have been nothing on the sway I had over the most powerful men in Heirloom as I danced. They were sweating as they watched, swearing over and over that they were not horn-eaters as they looked for a way to approach me in private and ask me when my next show would be. I finally realized how foolish I was spending my nights hidden among books in my room, hoping that someone would come and rescue me. I am not a little candle blowing in the wind. I am fire itself, hungry for everything. It is time to escape my confinements and see the wonders this city has been saving for me. Goodbye, Diary. I have a date tonight. Am I allowed to see this memory? No, it's this one.
Mom, help!
Not yet, not yet. I have to see something else first. Oh boy, it's this one. Dear Diary, how are you? Am I supposed to say that? It's been a whole eternity since the last time I wrote an entry, and I did not suppose this is bound to happen again anytime soon. Referring to a book in second person is quite the awkward thing to do, especially for the famously obscure Jasif, the eternal novelty of the desert rose. Yes, as you can see, this is hardly the most pretentious thing I have done as of late. Gods, did I really used to do this every day as a child? Anyway, you may be wondering why I am writing now of all times. I would be wondering at least. I had to endure a rather tumultuous night, and I cannot sleep as much as I try. I really feel that I need to get this off my chest and tell someone what happened, but I fear you remain the closest thing I have to a confidant. This is getting more pathetic by the second, so I may as well just lean into it and explain from the beginning. I have a crush, Diary. Ooh. I think I do. And I think it is mutual because every time I visit the Temple of Hirab, I find the same white-haired creature watching intently from afar. Their presence sends shivers down my spine, the good kind of shivers. Their long white hair is so graceful and ethereal, but their body is so chiseled too. They look like they could snap an iron beam with their own hands. Oh, but what I really love is the way they stare at me. So intense, so hungry, and... You got a crush on Aina? Girl? I may have stayed a tad too long in the temple looking for my absent watcher. It was far too late to risk walking home when the temple lies so close to the slums, and I knew I would not hear the end of it if I disappeared 2 nights in a row, so I decided instead to take a completely different kind of risk. I snuck into the royal pathway. I was crossing the stretch that goes right over Slander when who do I see but the mysterious albino running after Yoff, no less. I need to talk to them more than ever now, I thought. We have so much in common. It's crazy to me that they all, know each other, and I had no idea until, part ways into the story. Mostly because Aina is mute, but still. So, there I was enjoying the show when I heard a patrol coming my way. I tried to leave quietly as usual, knowing they aren't ever precisely in a hurry, when a ridiculously eager new recruit managed to sneak up on me. In a second, I was cornered against the railing, no chance to escape. I knew his partner well enough. Awful old man. He gave me a choice that was truly not one. Humiliate myself to prove my identity, or get dragged to the dungeon. In retrospective, that would have been the smart choice. I could have just walked in and told Illigrab what happened. But pride would not have me relying on old friends, so I tried to buy my way out, as I would normally do. Except, I miscalculated. I said too much, and the guard must have noticed some serious gaps in his memory. Oh, so she did mess with him. He lunged forward, grabbed my neck, and as I convinced myself I was going to die, I almost felt... Is it silly to feel that a single sentence would tarnish you, diary? If I write these words down, they will always be there for me to see and remember. That would not help, would it? I have no control over my thoughts, but I have control over these words at least, so I choose not to say them to you. It doesn't matter either way. That moment didn't last. "Get your mitts off her!" shouts this random one-eyed chubby roe deer in the thickest accent I've ever heard in my life. And he screams and screams at them to leave me alone. And not content with that, he climbs half the height of the bridge and falls on his head. It was as adorable as it was sad, but it seemed to have made enough of an impression to prompt the new guard to do the obvious right thing and to take that creep into the dungeon instead of me. So, I am writing today because I want to remember that. This anonymous act of heroism? No, that may be too great a name. Idiocy? Selflessness. Selflessness begets selflessness. That should be a proverb. Does that sound like a proverb to you, diary? I promised the boy that I would make it up to him personally, but I had better steer clear of the slums for a while. I will find him, though, eventually. I trust my bad luck just fine. I'm still awake, as a thought keeps encroaching over all others. I just remembered how hot and bothered that idiot got when the guard accused him of being a horn-eater. That is what prompted him to climb the bridge, not what happened before. Did he notice my horns at all? I wonder if there's more to this memory than there was originally.
Just who do you think you are?
Ah, whoops. Scoop? In?
I'm so dead. I'm
Yeah.
so dead. It's all right. I lived a good life. And I can say bye with a smile. Tell my friends I love them, and burn me with my purse before my boss figures out where all the missing rivets go.
For the last time, Adder, the wine was not poisoned.
Adder couldn't believe her. But then again, he could barely believe anything at this point. He'd eaten figs and dates and honey pastries by the dozens, sitting on cushions that felt like clouds, and he'd drunk wine so sweet that he could barely believe it was liquor. I want a cup of wine now. So easy to drink it was, that by the time they'd finished the first pitcher, they were already drinking from each other's mouths instead. Ooh. And now Adder was laying on his host's bed with a disheveled gazelle in one hand and a tiny ornate cup in the other.
Now, don't take me wrong. Now, I'm just saying, a gazelle inviting a poor buck to a fancy palace, feeding him food this good and getting them all drunk? I've heard this kind of story before, ma'am, and it always ends with Barhan curses and deer turned to stone.
Like I could make it any harder.
Ma'am!
I was talking about your skull. What were you thinking?
Called out!
Now I'm thinking that maybe it really is as thick as y'all say, because as much as I try, and I tried, believe me, I just can't shake the feeling this is just too good to be true. You sure you ain't about to curse me or something?
We're all out of wine after Christmas, Rip. We're in the opposite. The holidays, like, people just give wine, so we've got, like, tons of it.
So what if I am? What if it turns out I'm a Sephi and I put a spell on you? Isn't it a little too late to run?
Oh my god. Can you believe that people were trying to say that this was just fluff? Look at this! People are crazy!
You know what? I think I just let you do whatever you want to me at this point. Just don't leave any mark.
Adder, please. That's beyond inappropriate. Whatever happened to the shy boy I took home today?
Like, she fluffy, but she not that fluffy. That's all booty.
You served him wine, ma'am. He drank it, and now that he's drunk it, he's drunk. And that really makes him feel like telling you how pretty your horns look, and how cute your fluffy little tail is, and how much he loves your hip-shaking, earthquaking, heart-melting
Say it!
So that's just the wine talking,
No, ma'am. I'll happily tell you to your face sober. Sober as a stone. That is a nice booty. Folks will do whatever they can to accept the chonk. Accept the chonk. Don't deny it. Let the chonk into your heart.
Not a chance, ma'am. Adderson, son of Gerfot, says what he thinks all day, every day. Wine just makes him say it a little louder.
Hear, hear.
Really? I'm not so sure about that. I have a feeling that you'll start looking for excuses the moment alcohol stops being one. And I'm going to take the brunt of the blame, as usual.
Hey now! I may look like a crook and smell like a crook and talk like a crook, but there ain't nothing farther from the truth, ma'am. I'm a knight at heart, and I say I'm in everything that I did today.
We're in the thick of it now. Hell yeah.
A night, you say? Never mind. You are drunk.
Adder took both of his hands to his mouth, effectively hiding his whole face instead.
You didn't hear any of that.
Oh, I most certainly did. How could I forget I was dining with Sir Adder? No, Lord Adder, perhaps. Milord Adderson of the High Field.
It's Adderson of the Upper Field, and you're the last person in the world that gets to make fun of me for wanting to be something I ain't, Sep.
At least I have the decency to call myself Jacif before and after 2 cups of wine. And so should you, before you slip and tell someone.
Don't you worry your pretty striped face. Your secret's safe with me. I won't tell nobody you're a Sep if you promise you won't tell them I'm a horn eater.
I refuse to make any such promises unless you can prove your aptitude for keeping the secrets you've stolen.
Huh? What's that? You think I'm gonna go and spill the beans the moment you turn around? Alrighty then. I dare you to come at me with any kooky, spooky, mind-reading, magic stuff you got. My lips are sealed, ma'am. I won't breathe a word.
Is that so? Then brace yourself, Adder. I'm about to show you a millinery memory-altering technique.
What?
A waterfall of wine fell on Adder's face. Yes! I did it. It's not often that Adder gets to take a good look at his back, much less while he's sweeping the entrance to the temple. It would seem, however, that this memory started with someone staring intently from a distance. 2 people, actually.
Nice rack you have there, broom boy!
Oh, shucks! You really think so?
Oh yes, it's quite impressive. For dough!
Say what? You want to get down here and say that to my face?
Keep your head and walk away.
Huh? Sep, what you doing here?
Saving your neck, obviously. What do you think you're doing? Elbar won't lower himself to your level, but don't doubt for a second that he will send his guards after you if you provoke him.
Adder does have some great titties, I'm just saying.
I'm the one provoking him? Didn't you just hear what he said?
Oh, please. Can't you see? He's only insulting your looks because he doesn't have anything more meaningful to say about you. He thinks you're so weak that you will crumble hearing a shallow insult. Prove him wrong. Don't give him the satisfaction of seeing you flustered.
Hell yeah.
You know what? That's a for real good call. Yeah. This one of them mind-reading lessons of yours?
That's a lesson for life, Holmes.
No, that's just how life is. If you don't want to have your cute little horns thrown in the dungeon, you do well to keep your feelings in check around those that hold more power than you. And just so you know, I like them short anyway.
Hell yeah.
For real? I mean, yeah, of course. How come I hadn't thought about this earlier? I bet he's the one feeling threatened by my horn size. You know what they say? The shorter the sticks, the longer the...
Adder!
Hicks.
Yeah. We jumping. Wine, candlelights, and the distant music traveling from the main hall to the upper floor. A setup like no other for a romantic evening. Completed by a slightly inebriated monarch and a captain of the guard leaning against each other.
I will have you know, Sir Askadath, that you are exceedingly handsome.
Egad, a compliment from my princess. So refreshing and so rare. I feel like the sweetest fruit on a tree has fallen straight into my hands. What have I done to deserve such unusual kindness?
Well, I was thinking that you spent so many nights in my room, and yet your hands haven't wandered even once.
But of course, I am a knight before I am a man. Love is the prize and the contest, and I know that only defeat awaits if I act too hastily.
I feel that it's been quite long and proper now, however, and I'm afraid my heart is not quite as strong as a trained chevalier's.
I warn you, Jacif, I am known far and wide for my passion. My vigor knows no match in all of Akathor.
How curious. I have heard similar things about myself. Shall we try and see who's truly the best between us?
Damn.
Do you truly dare? Very well, my dear. We shall burn together in the fiery pits of love. The ground will tremble with the potency of our embrace.
I mean...
But not today.
What? Albar steepled his fingers.
I have a previous engagement. Next time, however, I will bring you the loveliest flowers and the fanciest incense, and we will have a night that will surpass your wildest maiden dreams. Until then!
Alvar scrambled to his feet and hurled himself out of the room without any further explanation, nearly taking the door with him. And one may think that perhaps this was an offense, that leaving your lover in the heat of the moment would be off-putting to say the least. But no, Sep remained very much unfazed. She was smirking to herself, in fact.
Knock, knock. Was that Sir Askadath running through the corridor just now?
I was just testing out a theory.
A game theory. I'm sorry, I will leave.
Theory? Oh dear, you're a dancer, not a scholar. Leave experiments to them and focus on doing your job instead of driving the clientele. Jacif, where do you think you're going?
I need to have my research peer-reviewed.
Oh, Alvar. Oh no, we're missing something. Adder felt a longer tremor than usual as the memory disappeared. A piece of the wall fell, followed by another, and a dozen more. A thin breach formed in her defenses, casting a single sunray into the darkness. It wasn't nearly big enough for his hands or his head, but that was, without a doubt, the way out of her heart she had promised. He hadn't taken 2 steps towards it when he halted in place, paralyzed by a thought. Adder knew that if he walked out of there, Sepp wouldn't let him inside again, ever. But was he truly ready to leave? Did he really know enough to face her? I don't think so. Hang on, I'm gonna save really quick. Saving. Should I stay or should I go? Hang on a second. Perhaps he feared giving Sepp an incomplete answer. Perhaps he just wanted to take advantage of her trust. Ooh, be that as it may, Adder turned away from the breach and opened the diary once more. The pieces it's incomplete. At least he would know where to go if he finally wished to leave. I want to know. There's more. There's more. Dear Diary, I've brought a new deer into my room today, and you will not believe who it is. The one-eyed Chub. I found him at last. Though he's anything but chubby anymore. He actually looks kind of janky, deformed. Mismatched would be the polite way to put it, I think. His name is Adder something, and as expected, he is an idiot. I made my intentions crystal clear from the moment I saw him, and yet despite his obvious desperation and his many slips of the tongue, literal and figurative, I think there's something wrong with his jaw. He insisted on playing dumb and refused all my advances. Yeah, see, I was thinking that exact thing. Should I stay or should I go? Actually, might have to take a tiny break really quick to just go refill my water. I soon grew tired of dancing around the issue, and knowing the curse can only do so much, I decided to read his gaze to see if I had the right deer after all. And you know what? It turns out he is a gaze reader. Of all the deer in Akazor, this dumbass can read gazes without any proper training? Mom would have absolutely lost it. I invited him over, dying to see what other surprises this elongated bag of serendipity hid, but I decided to seal the deal with a kiss and a little touch of persuasion, lest he get cold feet. But none of that worked either. I cannot tell if my voice affected him at all. He got mad at me. I could not care less if my powers are useless on him, but does he not realize that I'm worth 1,000 times more than any miserable doe he could ever hope to lay one of those massive fingers on? Nonetheless, I need reasons to keep him close for the time being. I still have a favor to return, do I not? P.S. Did I mention his hands? Hera be blessed, his hands. We had dinner together, but I couldn't read his mind because the masked deer arrived and I had to hide him for a while, and that was nice, and I'm kind of drunk, and I'll tell you tomorrow. I think this is a memory that we visited already. So hang on. Oh, yes, that was the masked one. Okay. Once I managed to get the huge goddamn mess Elbar situation under control, the evening with Adder went surprisingly well. He's amusing even when he's not nervous, provides great, if hard to follow, conversation, and it is truly a delight seeing someone eat so eagerly. Oh, I have never dined with someone so hungry. I haven't seen the previous one. I will go back. I would have gone back eventually anyway, but I only have a few left here, and I'm trying to figure out where I was before I got tossed out. I have to make that way clear. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, well, no. If I had already seen it, it should have been blacked out anyway, so I should have known I hadn't seen that one yet, right? I think? I can almost swear he had never eaten once in his life, so I made sure to feed him properly. Perhaps one day I shall recount the night I taught Sir Addersond of the High Field table manners. Though, I guess I should explain. I think I unironically kin with Adder now. He's so precious. It would seem this poor slum dweller is far more ambitious than I gave him credit for. He has some truly tall and deluded dreams about becoming a knight that I would just love to hear more of. Though I don't believe I am quite idle enough to follow up on the adventures of some prairie bum. Am I? Okay, wait, let me go back, because I will do that. This one. This one.
Focus on your breathing. In,
Yeah, this is new.
out. Good. Don't stop. Keep your eyes on me. Like that. Relax.
You know what it is? It's because of the scene in chapter 1 I was thinking of, but that's not the same memory as this one.
Now tell me, Adder, what am I thinking?
You thinking this sounds 10 kinds of wrong?
No! That's what you are thinking, damn it! Why isn't this working now? You read my gaze without even trying just a few hours ago. Doing it on purpose shouldn't pose a challenge after all the tips I have given you. What's your problem?
The sound of a pebble crashing against the balcony drained all the color from Sep's face. Elbar had finished his quest.
Look, ma'am, this was a lovely night. The pastries were out of this world. You're a for real nice gal, but it don't look like I'm cut out for this whole wacky, magic-y, mind-reading stuff. So I think I'm gonna go and get for you. Try to yank my head hornless.
That wouldn't have normally been a problem. Sep did what she could, after all. And if a pauper like him didn't want to accept her generosity, that was his problem. However, she faced a small logistics problem. There was only one discreet way to enter or exit Sep's room. The window, of course. The same window which was being attacked with pebbles at that very moment. Needless to say, she couldn't let him go.
Wait! There's something I need to tell you before you leave. Honestly, I've been meaning to ask about it since we first met, but I didn't quite know how to word the subject nicely. Say, Adder, do you have some kind of aversion to baths?
Say what? Of course I take baths. I ain't no smelly buck. It's just that I've been running all day and I work at a forge and you've been making me real nervous with this eye magic stuff and...
Ah, I see. Well, don't mind me then. I'm sure that ashen sweat is a popular perfume among slum dwellers.
Wow. I don't know, I'm tall, lanky, clumsy, giant hands, went through a chubby phase. Whoa. Adder's real. Adder's real.
I get it. Sheesh. I ain't gonna make me self-conscious about it.
So you agree that you need to wash yourself, right? Perfect. Our bath is right under these stairs. It should be empty right now, so why don't you head there and hide for a while?
Hold up right there. Did you just say hide?
From the rest of the world. It's like a metaphor for relaxing and... Ugh! Will you just go and stop stinking up my room already?
Yes, ma'am.
Adder sobbed a little as he sneaked out of the room. A deep breath was all the preparation Sep could gather before the window burst open.
Hello again, babe.
What do you think you're doing up there, you loon?
I have solved your riddle, Deceit. I come bearing gifts for you, and therefore I become the opposite of a thief. And so, with that misunderstanding cleared, in I go!
A twinge of fear shook Sep as the masked deer she'd grown to find absolutely predictable barged into her room. It quickly passed, however. The Desert Rose was her kingdom, her home. The only place in all of Akazor where she could truly be safe. Akathor. I keep forgetting that they're T, like a TH. I just want to say Z's. If any guards appeared, it would be because Miss Rachel called them, on her behalf. If anyone so much as looked at her wrong, they would be quickly disposed of, as long as Miss Rachel approved of it. No, there was no need for that. The intruder somehow looked even sillier yet up close. Horns aside, he wasn't much taller than the gazelle, making him look squat in spite of his otherwise mighty and wealthy appearance. Sep smiled to herself. Perhaps she had been looking at the situation wrong.
I must admit that I am rather impressed by your guile, my masked madman. Had I known you would return to me so quickly, I would have prepared my room for the occasion.
At least you could have opened a window in my absence. It smells like a volcano in here. Damn, I thought the Princess of Sand and Fire was your stage name, not your living conditions.
Oh, yes. That's just the smell of ash. Forage ash. Its purifying properties are astounding, but it's a bit of an acquired taste.
Well, whatever it is extremely vexing. We will have to do something about that next time. For now, however, I didn't know what kind of present you would appreciate most, Your Majesty. So I took the liberty of bringing those that I do enjoy.
Elbar removed the fabric covering his hand, only to reveal a silver plate full of pastries and a wine pitcher.
We shall partake on a most lovely dinner to celebrate our first encounter.
That's actually a fantastic idea. And yet I worry this marvelous evening may still lack the right appetizer. Perhaps a few verses would open my appetite.
Oh, Jasif, how astute of you! Feigning disinterest and serenades deceive the feeble suitor from the truly devoted. You have pretended enough. Heed, so the words of your poet. Brighter than all the stars in the sky, warmer yet than the desert is dry.
My. I thought I had been hearing voices for a while now.
Sep closed her eyes with a small, victorious smile as the door to her room burst open. Adder smells like an ashtray, confirmed.
Who's there? This is not what it looks like. I can explain. I am...
Sir Elbar of Askadath. Now there's a man who doesn't need an introduction. We are most honored by your presence.
How did you find me? What magic have you employed to see through my disguise, old crone?
Oh, please. Any business owner would do well to recognize the captain of the guard in any state of clothing. But that's not the matter at hand, is it? Of course not. We're here to talk about Princess Jasif.
Sep had questions, complaints, and just about enough criteria left not to say a word when Miss Rochelle was talking in her behalf. Oof.
You have exquisite taste. Jasif is such a little gem, so sadly overlooked by a deer like us just for those Barhan horns of hers. But oh joy! Having you here means that her talents have finally been recognized by a worthy patron. Because you do intend to patronize her, correct?
Why, yes, of course! I would never dream of wasting the time and talents of an artist like her without compensation.
Oh, this is such a magnificent moment. Please, come this way. We'll make the necessary arrangements over some tea.
Disregarding their difference in status, Miss Rochelle quickly pushed and dragged Albar out of Sep's room.
Whatever happened to a streak of bodies in the sewers?
Dear. Oh, dear. Taylor could never get his hands on this one.
Miss Rochelle slammed the door shut, sucking all the noise out of the room for a second. Finally, a moment of peace. For Sep, at least. Talid. The mere mention of Heirloom's most infamous moneylender's name sent invisible shivers down Adder's spine. But the realization that he was, in fact, her so-called brother paralyzed his every thought. Perhaps he hoped it was another Talid, because if it was the same Talid, he would inevitably hear about the trial and anything revealed in it about Adder and Sep, and then someone would find a rotten hunk of yellow venison hanging from his hooves. Adder briefly considered his options before realizing that he was about to die either way. May as well have fun in his last moments. Sep seemed to agree, as she quietly took a cup from a drawer and began pouring wine into it. After a few moments, the door opened once more, quietly this time. Sep didn't need to look to know a completely soaked Adder just entered the scene.
Oh boy! Soap! You know how long it's been since I last saw some good darn soap? I smell so fruity that I'm making myself hungry here. And look, my clothes are super clean now too. It sure was hard getting all the grunge out of them, but I think I managed.
Tell me you didn't wash your rags in there.
Okay.
Sep hid her face within her hands, seeking to cease to exist for a brief moment.
I just went and messed everything up again, didn't I? See? I gotta get the hay out of this place before I end up setting your room on fire or something.
No, it's all good. I just need a good excuse and a refill. You want one too?
An excuse?
A cup, you moron.
Adder began sniffing the cup Sepp pushed towards him.
Oh, darn. Check this thing out. Looks like tar juice. You drinking poison or something?
It's Northern mulled wine. Pretty much the same thing, if you ask me.
Mulled wine is delicious.
Wine? Whoa! That's the real stuff, huh? Way out of my budget. Sure hope this ain't no scam now, because there ain't no way in Doc Nah I can afford this. Unless you're really taking rivets this time.
Oh, please, that joke is getting old. Just relax and make yourself at home. You're my guest tonight, which means that anything in this room is yours for the taking.
Anything?
A single insinuating eyebrow should have told Adder all he needed to know, but he was much too preoccupied with the pastries laying on the silver plate. I don't blame him.
Yes, anything at all.
Well, guess a little sip won't hurt.
That's the spirit. Knock, knock went the locked door, but it was completely ignored by the gazelle resting at the other side. The knocking continued at an eager tempo, specifically designed to annoy Sepp into giving up. But she was far too cozy to mind.
Knock, 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 Deceive. Open the door. It's me.
There is no... Deceive before the sun rises.
Should I call you Homoseptut then?
I'd rather you didn't call me at all.
Oh, come on, dear. Don't be such a bore. Today's a special occasion. I've cleared out my schedule just for you so you can tell me all about your new patron.
Give me a moment.
Sepp rolled towards the edge of her bed with a speed that wouldn't have been out of place in a snail race. She managed to gather enough momentum to just barely defeat gravity and get up. That's a mood. Getting dressed was important, of course, but if she was to survive a lecture so early in the morning, she needed to have a hearty glass of juice. Fermented grape juice, to be precise. As she poured her favorite tonic, an oversized pair of arms surrounded her waist, pulling her into a warm embrace.
Good morning, sleepyhead.
Good... what?
The illusion of comfort was broken all too soon.
What do you think you're doing?
Giving you a nice good morning hug?
Here! I mean here! What are you doing in my room so late? Or so early? Or... why are you naked?
Do I have to explain that part?
Uh-oh.
Oh, look, I would have get a lot sooner, but you looked at me all teary-eyed when I was leaving, and then you asked me to stay, and you looked so sweet when you pulled on my hand. I just couldn't say no to that face, and...
Shut up! I did what?
What's taking you so long, Deceive?
Who's that talking over there? Is that your ma?
No! That is none of your business, Raoul!
Don't start with that ugly business talk again. I thought you'd be in a talkative mood today of all days. Don't think I didn't see all that wine.
Yes. Did you hear that? I was drunk. I was tired. I drank more than I thought I did, and that's why I asked you to stay. That's it. Don't get any weird ideas.
Me? No. I wouldn't get my hopes up or anything.
He's so cute, I can't get over it.
Good. Now get out of here before she...
Hold up, let me put something on first.
Oh, dear. You should have mentioned you were already celebrating. That's okay. Don't rush on my account. We'll talk later.
Her face, I can't. Both Adder and Sepp remained frozen for a few more seconds as they heard her walk away.
Well, she seems not.
Get out!
Adder jumped out the window, half naked. Somewhat more naked than he was when he first arrived, at least. It was only then that Sepp noticed a shaggy piece of blue and white fabric lying on her bed.
Hey! Come back here this instant! You...
Whew, I just left and she's missing me already.
Oh. Haha, I'm keeping it. A tall bridge rose from the sands, filled with guards to the brim. This memory started on a poignant note, or rather a pointy one.
One more step and I'll skewer you like a... Wait, boy, don't...
Yo, but her wearing the little scarf, though, is very cute. The guards became a mere distant blur as Adder jumped the railings and plunged down into the street below, carrying a gazelle with him. One awning broken, 2 awnings broken. Fabric and rope whipped against them as they fell at full speed. Sepp closed her eyes, incapable of watching the scene anymore. A million thoughts rushed through her head as they fell, and they were all about how this was not the time nor the way she wanted to go. The fall came to a sudden, cushy end. For her, at least.
Are we not dead?
Adder could only bend his neck to check, as the rest of his body was being crushed by hers.
We ain't? Oh, 3! We're alive!
We should be dead!
But we ain't! Woo!
Reinvigorated by the news, Adder grabbed Sepp once more and jumped to his feet, forgetting her weight altogether. They spun around and around, the world turning into a blur as they laughed and pranced like idiots. A dozen spins later, they fell back on the ground, exhausted, and far too dizzy to take another step. They found a brief respite in each other's arms, gasping for air as their manic celebration left them breathless. Sepp tried counting to 10, focusing on her hooves and taking deep breaths. But nothing was getting rid of that exhilarating sensation. It was like all her baggage had flown away as they fell, and now she felt so very, very alive.
Oh, God. Why do I want to do that again?
What was that thing you said the other day? You sure hit your head hard?
Just what are you made of, Adder? I'd swear that normal deer aren't supposed to ram straight through walls, or read gazes, or survive falls like this.
Who cares? All you gotta know is that Adder can do anything and more. You hear that, guards? You should have kept an eye on the one-eyed buck.
And here I thought you had lost your backbone.
Don't know about my backbone, but I nearly broke my tailbone because of you again. Give me back my cape, you thief.
Oh, but it looks so cute on her.
Take it off me, then.
Ooh. Sepp stretched her arms out and then laid back on the pavement. Bed eyes was a vastly insufficient term for the look she gave him, as he tentatively moved a hand toward the fabric covering her shirt.
What's wrong, Adder? Can't you untie a little knot?
Hey now, don't go laughing at me because I'm so mad at you right now. Like, whoa, so mad. Can't stop thinking about all the things you've done to me.
Really? You don't sound very mad to me.
Oh, yeah? Yeah? You don't know just how mad you made me, Missy. I'm so mad, so mad. I could just, so help me, I could just.
Adder pressed his face against Sepp's, getting so close that their noses touched. They booped snoots.
So mad you could just leave me hanging.
So mad I could just go and do something for real dumb right now.
I mean, can it be dumber than jumping off a 5-story tall bridge?
That depends on where you stand on asking the gazelle way out of your league to let you kiss her again after swearing you ain't a horn-eater like 100,000 times and getting kicked out of her room in the morning, ma'am.
Her position on the debate was grabbing his face softly and drawing him closer. There was nothing fancy about the kiss. It was, in fact, objectively bad, and even worse to watch from outside. Adder's previous experience in romance, or rather his lack of, had been underscored the previous night, but it was made all the more obvious for the lack of wine to mitigate their quality standards.
This may be the smartest thing you've done in the time I've known you.
Booping snoots because anything more would get me an R, right?
Cut me some slack here. You've only known me for like 2 days.
A year and 2 days.
See, now I'm gonna kiss you again just so you can't make fun of me.
He was wrong. She would make fun of him for that kiss, and many of the kisses afterwards, for they were honestly worse for his involvement. After all, history has never known any such thing as a deer born good at kissing. But that could be fixed easily. Oh, I don't know which one to pick. I'm keeping this one.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
For the last time, Adder, the wine was not poisoned.
Oh, we did this one. Wait, which one did I think I picked You Don't Know Nights. Didn't I? No. Damn it. Okay, wait, hang on a second. Never mind, I led to literally kick the thick-skulled boar out of a window. He forgot his weird scarf thing. Though I have to say it is pretty fancy looking for what it is. Perhaps I could keep it to myself as payment for the many headaches he's managed to give me in just one night. I want to gray out the choices in the future. Oh, yeah. I mean, my memory is bad. Okay, wait. Okay. Hang on a second. I want to get into this memory. I think this is the one. I can hardly believe I still have the ability to write after the events that transpired last night. I jumped off a bridge, and yes, I mean that in the most literal, least self-harming way possible. The specifics elude me now that the rush has begun to wear off, but I recall 3 decisive factors. I had Adder's scarf, some wine in my head, and an excess of bad intentions. When my attempts to dismiss him proved fruitless, I thought that I would remind him of his cowardice yesterday to embarrass him into going away. But instead, I had a rather droll idea. I decided to test his courage by goading him into chasing me, running into the royal pathway with his scarf in tow. It had a much greater effect than I anticipated. He was soon pursuing me through the bridge without a trace of hesitation, screaming like the stupid idiot he is. Needless to say, 6 guards followed suit. We ran together for as long as my legs could bear it, and once I couldn't run anymore, he lifted me in his arms and led us to a dead end. No, I do not know why I expected anything else. The guards surrounded us, drew their spears, and began walking closer and closer like a wall of spikes. I thought this was surely our end, and I would have to haggle for my life once more, but... Ask me as you may, I cannot even begin to fathom what exactly went through Adder's mind as he watched the guards approach us. Nothing, most likely. That's what I was thinking. Facing the prospect of letting himself, or me perhaps, get caught, Adder threw all sense to the wind and jumped off the railings 5 stories down into a nearby awning. And yet, I'm still writing. We survived. We kissed, we laughed, we celebrated. And I have to confess that I had not felt anything quite as exhilarating in never before. Adder seems to have quite a talent for clinging to his life while showing a worrying disregard for it at the same time, and I want to be there to watch all the foolish things he does. Does it sound like I want to see him again? My, what a distressing thought. P.S. Those hands, gods. Heh. Okay, wait. I can go through this one. I'm keeping this one.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead. It's all right. I lived a good life.
Oh, okay, wait. I did do it right this time. Okay. Okay, I wanted to wait until I was at a place that had some good music going, because I need to go grab some more water and take a piece. So give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Ah, okay, good. My throat was getting super scratchy for a second there, and I was like, I need to hydrate. Yes, okay, so we've done this one. one, I think... Nope, never mind. I think I selected that one correctly, too. Hang on, let me go to this. Horns. I was having a boringly uneventful... I don't know that word. Damn, Maxie. Coming at me with all these words. Walk with Albar. I was having a boringly uneventful walk with Albar. There, just watching the city at my feet as he argued with himself about some pointless troop play. When who do I spy in the distance but Adder himself, dutifully sweeping the dust in front of the Temple of Hereb. He looked adorable with that little broom between his wondrous hands. Naturally, I could not let this chance go. I gave Albar some flimsy excuse to sneak away and ran to observe my favorite toy in his natural habitat, before reminding him of his duties to me. That was the plan, at least. Perhaps it was the sun glistening on his body in a way I was not accustomed to, or, more likely, the terrible Donsoon heat demanding I stayed in the shade. It could as well have been that, for I was far more anxious about trying his memory than I first realized. There are so many causes I could blame, but none of them would erase the truth. I completely froze in the spot diary. I couldn't even walk up to Adder to tease him like I usually would. As my terrible luck would have it, Albar was so kind as to mock Adder for me, all the way up from the royal pathway. And I am fully convinced that that idiot would have run up the pillar and lost his head today if I hadn't been around to stop him from acting like a fool. Does he seriously not realize how close he was to dying for real? I don't care how high the field he farmed was back in Chanzure? Was it Chanzure? I think. He's a slum dweller now. His neck is mere dirt to be stepped on by the likes of Albar. I don't know why I'm letting this get me so flustered. I thought his being reckless was precisely what drew me to him in the first place. Rahl may have a point after all. I truly am letting myself get too carried away by his nonsense. Okay, let me try this one again really quick. Right. Okay, we did this one too. I'm trying to remember where I was. That's right. This was where it left off, isn't it? Okay. Then what's... Albar's passion. I realized today, dear diary, that the years I stopped sharing stories with you spared you from learning the most scabrous details about my love life. Given the topics we've caught up on, I assume you must have already figured out an essential fact about me. I like deer. In numbers and on their knees, preferably. Needless to say, the feeling is mutual. It's only natural, isn't it? They can never get used to my presence. I'm always literally as overwhelming as the first time they saw me. The eternal novelty. The point I'm trying to make, boasting aside, is very simple. I know men very well. I know the coy type that thinks of laying with someone as someone special. I know the anxious type with stage fright. I know the ones that think they have to feign good manners in order to get what they want. I know that Albar isn't any of these. Oh, Albar, my poor, confused horn-eater. Were our relationship a different one, I would have been eager to explain to him that it's not precisely horns he seeks in a person. Alas, I feel no guilt in taking advantage of a stupid noble deer that could have my head with a word, and yet has so kindly offered to gild the road out of this cage I call home. I'm so very glad I decided to keep Adder around after all. I wouldn't know where to put all the gifts I'm going to coerce out of Albar otherwise. P.S. Eat your hat out, Gyoff. You can't steal this one. Have I seen this one? Or, yes, okay. And then I think this is the last one that I haven't gotten to yet. So maybe I haven't seen this one. Moons after our reunion, Adder somehow still manages to surprise me with his ignorance. His latest gem of boredness. Deer and gazelles having fawns. I have to admit that in retrospective, it may have been a logical conclusion for a row, and more so a gaze reading one, but still, I couldn't help but laugh at the idea. I would have been a mother years ago if any such thing was still possible. As it's usually the case, Adder got so ridiculously flustered at the realization of his own naivete, but that he resorted to accusing me of being puerile. Wow. I graciously reassured him that he's the only fawn around, to which he had nothing better to say than claim to be older than me. This is, as you and I well know, Diary, a filthy lie. He barely looks like he had his antlers turned to bone yesterday. Is he that desperate to get the upper hand on me in some way? The nerve of this stag. P.S. What if I called him Sir Addersond as a joke? I bet that crook would like that. P.P.S. No, I can see the irony myself, thank you. I think I did do this one.
Hey, Sip, so, I've been thinking real
did.
hard about that thing I said about being
Okay, yeah. Albar's promise was too good to pass. There's something about Albar that I'm missing. I want to know what all these other ones are. Okay. Hang on, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna take a chance, and I'm gonna save. It's a riddle. Oh. Oh no, but I'm so bad at riddles. Shh, riddle. Okay. That's okay. Safety save has me. What happens if I leave? I can always come back. I can always come back. Don't Doki Doki Literature Club me. Adder took a moment to reflect on the entries that he's read. If that wasn't enough, nothing would be. No, leave. Ah! I can load! Wait. I can load, right? It takes you to the end. That's what I was worried about. I don't want to go to the end yet. I can't quick load, but I can load. Don't walk away from me. Okay. Let me think. I have to put a warning there, like a big one. Well, that's what saving and loading files are for. There are some memories that I haven't been able to get past. Like, don't open that door, for one. And I think the long silence was another one. Or did I get through that one? Wait, hang on. We're going to follow. Oh, no, wait, I didn't. Mom! Okay. I'm trying to remember where the thread starts. There's one missing here.
Honey, please, let me in.
I want to be like her.
Hey, Sip, so, I've been thinking real hard
Ooh.
about that thing I said about being responsible and whatnot, so
Okay.
boy.
So this one.
I think I'm ready to take this step.
Imagine Ra's face. Interesting. Okay. Um. I'm gonna hop around a little bit and just see.
I refuse. No matter how you insist, I can't just choose one. You are all my favorites.
What about... Whoa. It's definitely not the option I picked last time, and I didn't expect it to take me to another memory. Yeah, I think I picked the other one before. Hang on, wait.
No, I refuse. No matter how you insist,
I went with I can work with this, and then...
Sep, you see, darling queen, I don't want to hurry your grace, but I think that's the sun coming up your window.
What? Wait.
You sure you don't want to go grab some scissors?
Wait, but I did pick that. Whoa, okay. My memory's bad. I think maybe I picked that one and it ended before, perhaps? Because I don't remember this.
Ugh, will you just shut up for a minute and let me concentrate? I'm almost done figuring out the knot.
Yeah, no, this is new. Yes, okay. See, that's what I was wondering. I was like, if I go back and revisit these ones that ended, but I couldn't remember all the ones that ended. Just the ones that really, the spooky ones.
Right. That's great and all, but I don't think my boss is gonna take I was kind of tied up for an excuse. Really, though, saw my arm off if you got it. Just don't let me get to work late.
Joseph, guess who?
Oh, for the love of... Rel! Isn't there anyone else waiting for you to ruin their morning?
As a matter of fact, there is. So open up, sweetheart. I'm a very busy doe. And so is your patron.
Don't think you can come and demand my time whenever you feel like it. I'm busy as well. Far too busy to open up right now.
That's okay, love. I brought my keys this time.
Oh, shit. Seb looked at Adder. Adder looked at the ropes. The ropes looked at Seb. The sound of a key struggling against the lock sent them both into a frenzy, strong enough to make Adder break free all on his own. Then it was time to panic. Seb turned the room on its head, wondering if there was a wardrobe tall enough to fit a deer that was more deer than any other deer, but she had no such luck. She had, however, an abundance of oversized cushions. The door finally opened up, revealing a doe with an apparently pleased expression, which threatened to break into ire at any moment. Miss Rochelle looked left and right, clearly hoping to find something, or someone. But what would she ever be suspicious of when all Sep was doing was sitting on a pile of cushions with her cup of wine?
Dear, oh dear, would you look at that? Drinking so early in the morning. You look more and more like...
Oh, whoops. I hit the button by accident. First of all, rude. Second of all, that's what I should have done when I took a break, is getting a little cup of wine. Seb took a long sip from her drink, trying to drown the dangerously uninhibited words that were forming in her throat. She left the cup on the ground and sat up slightly.
Where's Elbar? Didn't you say he was with you?
Oh, he was. He came by yesterday while you were out. We spent a lovely evening talking about you and his doubts about my legitimacy.
Oh.
Someone got into his head that I have usurped the throne and that I'm not doing enough to protect you, apparently.
Oh.
Protect what? My moral integrity. This isn't precisely a convent.
You're many, many things, dear, but subtle is not one of them. I know you've struck a deal of some sort with him.
But you're here because you don't know what.
I'll find out soon enough. You're 20 years too young to play me, Joseph. Now, would you be so kind to tell me what kept you from opening the door this time?
I was just trying to spite you.
You did great then. And the one who's going to pay is that naked buck you're hiding behind the...
I ain't naked, ma'am. See, I'm wearing a cape.
Oh my god. Miss Rochelle stared at a now revealed adder for a solid minute. Then she moved her eyes towards Sep, who silently prayed for any benevolent god to end her life.
Can't say I've ever understood your taste in men, Jasif, but this one definitely bears the palm. Where did you find him? In a circus? Did the wandering horn eaters come to town?
Oof.
Hey, I ain't. No.
Adder didn't finish that sentence, for all the evidence pointed to the contrary.
That's okay, sweetie. Better deer have fallen victim to Jasif's charms. Better looking at the very least.
The doe walked towards Adder with a huge smile on her face. Adder walked back slowly. Smiles like those had never been good news in his life.
Oh dear, what's that face for? Did she tell you something bad about me too?
No, ma'am. Never seen her do anything but sing your praises.
Sing your praises, he said. How charming.
Sapphire's really
Let
good.
me guess. You're one of those naive country fawns that get corrupted by the glamour of the city and then never dare go back home. Just think what your parents would say if they saw you here.
For a moment, Miss Rochelle's eyelids drooped a little. For a moment, her words sounded a little bit too honest.
Well, dear, if that's the case, you're far too good to die because of someone like her. That's why I'll be nice and give you a chance to turn your life back around. You have 5 seconds to run before I call the guards. 1.
Will you be all right?
Sep just pointed at the window, her face still covered with one hand.
2.
On the count of 3, Adder disappeared.
Well, he seemed like a nice enough sort. I bet you would have broken his heart one way or another.
Wait a second, I don't get it. Why was Adder tied?
He fell and got all tangled up while they were knitting.
Oh, Adder. That kind of stuff happens to me a lot too, you know?
I certainly hope not. Aha! Something about wanting to be left alone. I'm going to push him off a cliff. Quietude. Just complete, utter silence. Heavy. Very heavy. About as thick as a sheet, covering the entirety of Sep's room. Silence from the girl meticulously moving a flattened bead of glass over every squiggly line of letters in a book. Silence from the boy sitting by her side on the bed, hands intertwined over his caved-in stomach as he stared at the ceiling. His little drumming, or his occasional whistling, vanished in all the encompassing silence.
I'm sorry. I thought you'd like that.
I didn't.
Sep licked her thumb before turning the page. It felt like the slowest page turn in history.
Did I make you mad?
Not at all. I appreciate your initiative.
Adder's gaze traveled to the other end of the room, repelled by the tone of her words. He barely dared to look at her ears.
You look mad.
I have been known to look mad on occasion.
Having 2 people that could read minds together in a single room, avoiding each other's gaze was foreboding, to say the least.
Well, as long as you ain't mad.
The sound of the book being sternly closed echoed all over the room.
I thought you'd be smart enough to figure out how I feel, if only barely.
So you are mad!
Of course I'm mad! How could I not be? You've been taking too many liberties lately, but this is the last straw. How dare you go behind my back like that after all I've done for you? Oh, the nerve you have!
By the way, I appreciate Sep's little titty window in that shirt. It's very good.
On my nerves is where you're getting. I already apologized. What else do you want me to do?
You call that an apology? You haven't even started to grovel.
Say what? You really think I'm gonna bow my head and kiss your hooves?
'Cause I
done been
will.
Plenty in my life, but even I got some pride, ma'am. Adderson, son of Gerfather of the Upper Field, is a whole lot of things, but he ain't no ass kisser.
I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute. Kafka! Thanks for the host, Mary Crimbo. Happy Krampus. Sep has like so many windows, and I love to look through all of them. Respectfully.
And what exactly is Adderson of the Upper Field if not an ass kisser taking advantage of my generosity? I have little use for anything else.
Adder extended a finger, posed to reply, but he immediately curled it back again and pressed his lips together, realizing his own urgent lack of a worthwhile retort.
You know what? Fine. Guess I can't keep my true identity a secret forever.
The seriousness of his expression managed to throw Sep off ever so slightly. I'd kiss that ass, not gonna lie. I mean, what? Huh? Who said that?
You want to know who I am? Well, listen up and listen well. I'm a knight-to-be. Royal blood runs in my veins because I was abandoned in a farm in the middle of nowhere by my real parents. Only after coming of age did I find out I was, in fact, a hero destined to save all of Akazor, nay, all of Duck-Nah from ruin, and get the girl while at it.
Adder struck a pose as he finished talking. He huffed through his nose and then discreetly turned his head to see Sep's reaction.
You're lucky I have a soft spot for your lies, Adder. I'm going to give you extra credit for having such a knightly name. Now, tell me a better one.
Say what? Ma'am, coming up with stories like these ain't nothing to sneeze at. I'll just tell you another tomorrow.
Bold of you to assume you will have a tomorrow with me.
Sep opened the window and folded her arms, looking rather serious.
I've been a gracious host so far, but my time is precious and short, and you have far overextended your stay beyond what's acceptable. If you're not going to do what I say, then I don't have anything else to say to you. You have taken me for granted long enough, Adder.
Well, nothing to do about it then. Darn my luck. Guess you won't get to hear about all my mighty made-up master plans to become a knight and get you to fall for me. Curses. They were so funny, too.
Aw. They took Twitch off Roku devices? Really?
Like that one time I disguised myself as 10 stags trying to fight me and ended up getting knocked out by my boss. Or that time I hid inside a barrel and convinced a guard I was a talking barrel of ale. And don't even get me started on the neck thing.
Hey, ban that guy. And ban that other guy. Thanks, boo. Sep hesitated for a moment as she watched him climb down.
Fine. Let's make this a game then. Come back tomorrow with another story of yours. If you manage to make me laugh at least once, I will let you stay by my side one more day. If you don't, I will make you pay the extent of my services in full.
Can I pay in rivets this time?
Sep slammed the window shut. Ooh, a current has opened up somewhere. I'm on the couch with the doggies. Give them pets for me. Okay. Maybe?
You sure
Hell
you're
yeah.
all right?
I told you! The wine went to my head, nothing else. I'm fine now.
For real? I don't mind spending another night making you company if you need it. Just ditch the ropes this time.
Oh, by the way, we're hopping through Seb's memories, so some of them are out of order. In case you're like, wait, what? Why are we here now?
Don't even joke about that. I can't imagine what Rel would do to you if she found you here.
That's exactly what you think.
Well, that'd be the case if she found Adder. But if she found Sir Adderson of the Upper Field, loyal servant of Yasif.
Welcome to the Desert Rose, my lord.
Go.
Stay.
Miss Rochelle advanced towards the two sobering idiots, trudging right through the mess of a room Sepp perpetually lived in. Adder was now firmly pinned against the lattice covering the balcony that he always used as an entrance.
You know, on second thought, I can almost see the appeal in that pitiful sunken face of yours. You look so obedient and innocent, like you wouldn't hurt a fly. Oh dear, I bet you didn't even realize you were intruding on a private commercial transaction.
Did you already beat it and replay it? No. But this is like right before the end of this chapter. So I'm like trying to puzzle out. You'd have to go back and rewatch, but we're trapped inside Sepp's mind right now, and we're traversing her memories to figure out a way for us out, to get out, basically.
You could bet your farm on it, ma'am. I'd have to know what any of those words means first.
Good, because you wouldn't like what we do with intruders around here.
The story, trademark.
I'm sure I wouldn't, ma'am. Rawl?
In the present, we're about to die. We're on trial, and we're basically guilty and about to die.
It's Rochelle for you. Miss Rochelle.
Miss Rochelle! The Miss Rochelle! Of course! Sepp always tells me how much she loves it.
Sepp!
Oh, I love that little bounce she did, too, like mid-sentence when he said it.
Stop talking, please.
Well, I'll be Sepp. Now that's a name I didn't expect to hear again. Sepp. How cute. Oh no, sorry. I shouldn't laugh. This is far more serious than I thought. I'm afraid that just kicking you out of a window won't cut it anymore. Say, Sepp, who should I tell first? Elbar or Talid?
Uh-oh. I haven't been on the Strimbos. I've been preparing for Crimbos. That's fair. I haven't been on the Strimbos much either myself. Been way too busy at work, for Crimbo.
Oh, I saw that face you made just now. You've met Talid, haven't you, Adder? You've heard the things he does to the people he doesn't like, right? It's settled then.
Wait, please, anything but that. Don't tell Talid, Rawl. I beg you. This isn't Adder's fault. It's mine. I keep asking him to come back. I just manipulated him into thinking that I needed him, just like the rest. But he won't come by ever again. I swear by Hirub.
Oh, honey, what a selfless declaration. I'm moved by your love. I truly am. But your tears and your words aren't valuable enough to buy my silence.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the negotiations are about to close.
Sapphire's incredible at this because, it's one of those, I hate you so much. But it's because your performance is so convincing. It's like Joffrey in Game of Thrones. I just want to strangle you.
I'll tell you everything I know about Elbar. All the plans I've made with him. I'll do anything you ask of me. But please, let Adder go unharmed.
We had so much fun. Her performance is so infuriatingly good. Hi, Seraph. How are you? Merry Christmas.
Now that's more like it. Ooh, I can just tell you've been keeping something really juicy to yourself. Oh, you're still here?
I ain't leaving till my queen tells me to.
Oh, how adorable. You found yourself a hayseed knight.
Name drop.
Too bad it's useless. I'm the highest authority here, love, not her. That's why I can do this and she can't. Guards!
Speaking of Crimbo, did you see my DM? Oh, I think so. And the answer is that it was going to be yes, but I had to buy a new audio interface because this one is dying. So, but I still plan to, believe you me. Oh no! Okay. I have to figure out. I have to revisit something. If I can't go any further there, Maybe it's the one with Elbar now. Which one was that? This one? I can't remember. No. This is the spooky one. Oh, whoops. Keep doing that. Elbar's hash, possibly. Yeah, it was this one. Okay. Nope. Okay. I don't even know where to begin with this, but if I don't write something, I'm going to lose my mind. I need to think things through. Maybe the events of last night will seem less terrible than they were somehow. All I can do is hope. Hope that this was not one of those choices. Hope that I didn't make it worse. I've shown all my cards, pleaded like I'd never had to before in my life, and now Ral. I have no idea what she's going to do, but I've already done everything I could, said more than I ever meant to say, and so I hope that he managed to see beyond my words for once. It's all up to him now. I'm calmer now, and you know what? Adder is nothing if not a survivor. He'll be fine. Is this Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories? Kinda. Oh, the bargain. I consider myself a fair and objective person, Diary. I really do. I try to acknowledge the gap between my skills and those of others, and be as benign towards them as I can be, but I guess my patience can only go so far. No, I don't have any good analogies for what Adder did today, and I normally wouldn't have been so bothered. I really did try not to be angry at him, but my grudge only grew deeper with every second I spent trying to forgive him, and I realized that his lack of respect towards me ran much deeper than the shamelessness he showed today. That was my favorite game growing up, so yes. I love Chain of Memories. So many people hated that one. I never even really liked the remake that much, but the original one, I don't know. There's something really fun about the card system to me that everyone seemed to hate. I love that game. I wanted to be fair to myself for once and kick him out of my life, but that dumbass managed to charm me again with his cute smiles and his tall tales. And what am I indeed, if not an idiot enamored with the very concept of hubris? I have a feeling that I will not have the strength to enforce my end of the bargain if the time comes. Raid? Oh my god! I 110% agree. Hang on, I want to see... This led to the memory that I got to. Does this lead to something else?
And then Illigrad grabbed me by the neck, and I heard this loud friggin' crack. And suddenly, I could do this.
Hell yeah. Adder twisted the upper half of his neck, and then tilted it some impressive 60 degrees to the side.
Stop! Oh, that's too gross.
So anyway, Megan's been going a little better since that happened.
Adder took a date and popped it into his mouth, chewing loudly.
You know, every time you tell me about your life, I try to think about it, but I just can't imagine what being so hungry that you have to beg must feel like. I mean, I understand the concept, of course. I just can't wrap my head around the idea of not having food.
Funny you'd mention that. I've been thinking hard too lately, and I realized that you're really big for a gazelle, and
you're really perceptive for a roe.
Darn it, I wasn't done talking. I was gonna say that I'm always here drinking with you and cramming food down my throat, but I ain't never seen you take one bite.
Of course not. That wouldn't be proper of me.
What do you mean, proper?
Barhan Protocol says that a gracious host should not eat in front of a guest. Your wealth belongs to those that don't yet trust you, and your trust belongs only to those that would share their wealth back. I can't eat in front of you. You're not my equal.
Damn.
Say what? Come on, you know that if I got a biscuit, half would be yours. I can't exactly bring you a fruit salad, but I could try and smuggle out some taters from the forge or something next time.
Yeah, just shove a potato in her mouth.
I don't know what a tater is, but I can already tell I wouldn't touch one with a stick. Keep your food, Adder. I don't want it.
So you're saying you don't trust me?
I am, yes, but that's not the...
No, that's all right, ma'am. You don't gotta explain. I get it. I ain't done nothing to deserve that or any of this, really. Guess you were right when you said I've been taking you for granted. Mr. Bard always says no one's kind without a reason. And you've been so awfully nice to me, I forgot to ask yours.
I have told you 1,000 times, haven't I? I'm just returning the favor.
But I didn't do you no favor. I just hollered in your general direction and then fell on my face and gave myself a big bump in the head. I couldn't do nothing to protect you. That guard hadn't gone and helped you.
For some reason, her eyes got stuck looking down at Pepperoni. Stop looking at his butt, Sep. She's just checking out the goods. She's looking right at them titties, actually. Sep placed her fingers on Adder's lips, silencing him.
Your intervention was as endearing as it was futile, but that does not change what you did. You charged in headfirst, risking your own life to stand up for someone you'd never even met before. I don't think you can fathom how rare that sort of heroism is in this city, Adder.
Sep's index finger floated briefly on the air before landing on Adder's nose. Boop!
You're right in one thing, however. I'm not as selfless as you are. I did have ulterior motives for returning the favor, though nothing nearly as nefarious as you're making it sound, I assure you.
Sep's gaze was drawn to her mirror.
When I mentioned what happened, you think of one night 1 year ago, but what I think of is 1 year of nights wondering if you had seen me that night, if you had noticed the horns on my head, if you only stood up for me because you hadn't.
Sep, I know my folks ain't exactly kind to yours, but...
No, you know nothing.
Timing! Oh shit, it's Daniel. Is it time yet? Oh, what time is it? Oh shit. What is time? I'll finish this memory and then I should probably save. But then I would definitely be able to figure it out the next time. Which will, honestly, will probably be tomorrow.
I swear
You what? You would positively, absolutely do the same for anyone? I can't believe you, Adder. You lie as you breathe. How could I possibly believe a single thing you've said to me? That's why I won't rest easy until I can get inside your head and find out myself.
Then, that's it? That's the whole reason you've been so good to me? What are we doing when you get your answers?
There's nothing else I could possibly want from you, but I can't deny that your stories have been as entertaining as you promised they'd be.
Yep, that's Adderson for you. A real entertaining buck.
Aw, Adder tried to smile, but his brow didn't listen to him. His eyes refused to meet Sep's anymore. To his surprise, Sep grabbed a pastry and shoved it in her mouth.
This doesn't mean that I'm not willing to give you a vote of confidence while I reach my own conclusions.
A dumb, affectionate smile crept onto Adder's face as he watched her chew away whatever pretensions of dignity she had left. Did you answer my question? Yeah, I'm going to finish this scene and then I'm going to save. I didn't know what time it was.
You're sweeter than stolen honey, you know that?
Shut up and pass me those pastries.
Absolutely, ma'am. Open wide. Here comes the caravan. Woo! Hey, hold up. We're supposed to share. Don't just eat all of them. Sap!
You asked for this. Okay. That's what I thought was going to happen. I save. Okay. Now that I understand how this diary mechanic works, I am determined to see every single memory. So, I'm going to put a hold on it there. Chapter 3 so long. Well, it could have been short if I had just chosen to leave. But there's no way. I'm going to see every memory. It's happening. So I am going to put a pin in it there, and then the next time that I stream this again will be the rest of it. Which will probably be, if not tomorrow, then Sunday. Because, well, I'll be real, I'm not doing shit this weekend. Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out, and I am excited to see where the rest of this goes. I really want to know what, like, more about Elbar, I guess. And obviously, like, what happened to Thar. So yeah. I guess I will see you guys then, and thanks for hanging out. And Merry Christmas! And Happy New Year, and all those things. Holidays, and what have you. See you later, bye!